ESPN's Dan Graziano.
That could depend on what other opportunities are out there for Jameis Winston. There are other teams looking for quarterback help that may be able to offer him a situation where, hey, you're the guy, you're the starter. You don't have to worry about Taysom Hill. I still think it's more likely he ends up back with the Saints, where he's comfortable, where he had a good experience, and where he has a chance to be the starter. But if not, they have to look at other options.
Indiana fired basketball coach Archie Miller after 4 mediocre seasons with no NCAA tournament appearances.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Happy Monday, everybody. Players Championship in the books. Didn't watch a lot of it, so we'll wait till Brent gets on the show to talk about that. But we're at the cusp now. We have started free agency. And so far, the Jacksonville Jaguars, for the most part, there's been some speculations. There's been some rumors out there. But the biggest news right now, and it's not a good one in my opinion, is the fact that Jonnu Smith, tight end Jonnu Smith, the former Tennessee Titans, is reportedly going to the New England Patriots now to play football over there. Happy to get him out of the conference, happy to get him out of the division. But Jonnu Smith was a guy that I wanted the Jaguars to target, obviously. Hunter Henry is the other name on the list right now. Could they trade for Zach Ertz? Because at the end of the day, I've said this before, everybody. When it's a free agency right now, like this team is not one free agent away from going to the Super Bowl. But there are some draft holes that need to be filled. And one of those being, obviously, that tight end position. So losing Jonnu Smith to New England, that could be a bigger, a bit of a big deal, depending now what happens with Hunter Henry. Brent back. Brent.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Free agent frenzy. Here it is. Welcome to March. Why wait till Wednesday? Or maybe the Jags are saying wait till Wednesday. And, hey, back to the pickup truck action for me today down here at some baseball. I had to redirect. I'll share more of that story in just a little bit. But forget about free agency. Forget about everything else. Good to have you along, Austin Lane. And good to have win number 8 in the cage. Congrats on the W Saturday night.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was quick, man. I mean, I spent $30 to watch 2.5 minutes.
There's other great fights, man. You should stay tuned to those as well. Brent, you know how I operate, man. Obviously in the show. And by the way, I apologize for the noise in the background.
What is that?
There's a guy in it's like one of those buckets, like it's like a cherry picking bucket.
Oh, yeah.
And he's right by the window. We could probably get him on camera, and I don't know what he's installing. Like some kind of antenna or something. He's literally right by the window where I sit.
He had all day.
Not even a distraction at all for me. Not even a distraction whatsoever. I can literally see him in the window right now.
We've got a lot of things going on here.
There's so much happening.
Here, I'll tell you real quick. I was supposed to be tonight at Ponte Vedra to do the show from there. Well, I'm en route to Ponte Vedra. They say, well, the sprinklers stayed on too long. The field's flooded. So I reversed course. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get to the station now.
Yeah.
Game's not at Ponte Vedra. They moved the game to Creekside. So I was going home, stopped home. I said, hey, you mind if I just do the game at Creekside? Why not? Have a ball field in the background. And so here we are. But it all came together in the last half hour. And you've got mechanical work going on right outside the window here today. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I have no idea. But regarding my fight, I'm sorry you spent that much money for about a 2-minute for me. But, Brett, you know how I operate, man. All right? I'm not trying to get paid by the hour when it comes to fighting. I get in, I get out, I collect a paycheck, and I'm gone.
Yeah, well, heck, good execution.
Thank you.
Listen, you know me. I don't know enough about it to know. First of all, I say it's a W. That's good.
Yeah.
The announcers were talking like that showed some of your growth in the cage, the move you used, and your willingness to be able to go down the mat like that. And which you've told me before anyway. You say your game has come a long way in that respect, but they acknowledged it as well. Mm-hmm. And so now you beat Brad Taylor for a second time and get another W and make quick work of it. But I guess that's showing your chops a little bit in the cage.
Yeah, it's definitely because obviously I'm a big guy that likes to, visualize everything, and I didn't see the fight going like that whatsoever. I thought it was going to be a stand-up battle for a little bit. But, he basically, I went at him. He turned his back to me. When you turn your back to me, I'm going to try to take you down. I took him down from there, and then I brought him back over to my cage so I could hear my coaches and everything. And, I mean, it was a fantastic win because my coaching was on point. I had a timekeeper in my corner as well, so he was telling me, okay, because, when you're in the cage, you can't see how much time you have left in the round. Yeah. So I had the timekeeper, my other teammate, Fat, we call him. And he's not fat, by the way. He's small, but we call him Fat. And he was telling me, all right, so you about halfway through. So I knew how much time I had to work and everything to go for that submission. And then, thankfully I got the rear naked choke. I understand that's probably the most aggressive submission name you've ever heard before, but it's a real thing. And, it was my first submission of my MMA career.
We'll talk more about the fight in a little bit, but two quick things. Did you think about letting him up just so you could knock him out on Saturday night?
Well, it's funny because when we kind of came after that, when we both stood up, he kind of pushed me a little bit jokingly.
Yeah, he did.
But I was not expecting the push jokingly. So I'm like, oh, are we about to go at this again? I had no idea what to expect from that. It's funny because even the commentators mentioned this a little bit. I do jiu-jitsu a lot, right? So I'm pretty versed in it, I can roll with a bunch of high-level guys and everything. But like I said, that was my first submission in the cage. And I'll be honest, man, in terms of feeling satisfied, I still got the first round finish, and that's the most important part. I didn't take any damage. That's another important part. But if it's me, and we're being honest here, it's so much more satisfying getting a KO or a TKO as opposed to getting a submission. Not to say I won't chase submissions, because if they're there and they present themselves, I'll go for that. But it's so much more satisfying, at least in my shoes, to get a TKO or a KO.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, I have been put in the rear naked chokehold before, so I know exactly what that feels like.
Matt Hughes, right?
Matt Hughes got me.
Hughes, yeah.
Knocked me out. I passed out right in Matt Hughes' arms.
UFC legend, by the way.
And that was on TV, by the way, so that's even worse. Hey, the Jacksonville Jaguars appear to be on the board in free agency. Just in.
Hit me with it.
Mike Garafolo saying Urban and the Jags have agreed with former Chicago defensive tackle Roy Robertson-Harris, 3-year, $24 million deal, $14 million in guarantees. The deal for the former undrafted free agent is done, according to Garafolo. Hopefully that's the right blue check mark. And the Jacksonville Jaguars on the board with Roy Robertson-Harris. Tell me more about Roy Robertson-Harris. Yeah. Please tell me more.
Okay, so what I know about him, he's coming off a shoulder surgery, which he had last November. I think he missed almost half the season because of it. Now, what was the contract again, Brent? Can you repeat the numbers, please?
3 years, 24, so about $8 million deal. This would what I would call in this day and age, this is a moderate deal, right? This isn't a blockbuster deal, but a moderate deal.
Okay. I'm not sure if they're going to be slating him the starter, per se. It could be more of a depth decision, but, I mean...
I got to believe that's a starter.
You think he's going to start? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then,
I mean, $8 million a year for a depth play is a lot.
I guess, man. Okay, well, I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about him. I think you get lost in the Khalil Mack sauce sometimes. I'm looking up some stats right now and everything, but this is a news to me just because in terms of guys that I was going after, looking at, he didn't really pop up on my radar as a guy that the Jaguars should pursue. Last season, started in 6 games, played in 8 games total, had 10 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 0 sacks. In 2019, started 7 games, played in 15 of those games, 2.5 sacks. So you're talking about a guy right now who has 4 years of experience, who's played in 52 games, and who has started 13 of those games. So, okay. I mean, I guess if that's going to be your starting, I assume defensive end will be a 3-4 defensive end, depending what they do. So be it. But from starting experience, I mean, obviously last year, before he got hurt, he was kind of the bona fide starter, it appears to be. But before that season, 2020, not a lot of starting experience to go around.
No, and that's okay. Like these kind of deals, this is the up-and-comer guy. This to me says a little bit, probably not exact, but just humor me for a moment, kind of like the A.J. Boye big deal. Remember, he didn't have a lot of playing experience, but he played that last year, and people were really high on him. And so I think this is a little bit lower level than that. I'm not saying everybody was talking about Roy Robertson-Harris a lot, but I do get the sense that this is trying to catch a guy on the rise. That's the comparison I'm trying to make. And so where you go from that depth play guy, not starting all the time, rotational guy, to a guy that could get into the starting lineup. If you're signing a guy to an $8 million a year deal, I think you're in the starting lineup. He played his college ball at UTEP. He's 6'5", Austin, 292 pounds. The bottom line here is what I'm asking: can he clog the middle? I don't care about sacks like that at this point. If they're going to try to stop the run, which they haven't been able to do for 2 years, if they're going to probably play that semblance of a 3-4 mostly, is this the guy that can clog the middle and be your nose?
So you think he's going to be
or on the end? I don't know. Which one is it?
Yeah, no. Listen, if he's 6'5", 290, and maybe he's gained a little weight, but to me, that's going to scream defensive end in a 3-4 all day.
On the outside.
He's, in my opinion, if this is current, from what it tells me at ProFootballReference.com, 6'5", 292, that is way too small to be playing a nose technique. So the Jaguars address the 3 technique in a 3-4 defense. They still need that nose. They still need that anchor. And I've said many times on the show how important that guy would be. I wonder if this means that the Jaguars pivoted a little bit, maybe from Dalvin Tomlinson. Maybe he was asking for too much money. Maybe he's still out there. Maybe they still pursue him, because I feel like Dalvin Tomlinson's a guy from the New York Giants that can play that 3-4 nose tackle, and that can be kind of a beast inside for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And so can Devon Hamilton, right? Don't you think he can play that nose at 327 pounds, 30 pounds more? And that's really where I should have gone with that. Hamilton now could play. I don't know if you want to rely on him as a starter right away, but let's just say he could be in that nose situation. Then you get a guy like this coming over from Chicago that will play one of those end spots.
It's a possibility. And I also think that Devon Hamilton is athletic enough to actually play a defensive end as well in that defense. So this is a guy coming from Ohio State, where he played in numerous types of defenses, where he was all over the ball. He has played nose. He has played like a 2-gap in a defensive end scheme. So he's very versatile. Do you trust him to be the starting nose tackle on a 3-4 defense? I don't know. I mean, I haven't been around that locker room this year, and neither has he. So we'll see. But I can't stress this enough. In order to have a successful 3-4 defense, you need a bona fide, legit stud of a defensive tackle at the nose technique. I think Devon Hamilton can be that, but I'm not sure if I would risk it right off the bat starting him day one.
Where does Avery Jones fit, assuming he's still on the roster? Can he play the nose, or is he going to be one of those end spots too? I mean, I need cookie cutter guys. If you play hit 328 or over, you're playing the nose. It's just not the way it works anymore. Everybody's so versatile, so it's hard to kind of say, this guy's going to go exactly right here, you know?
To answer your question, Avery Jones is a legit nose tackle. I don't think he would be playing a 3-4 defensive end, and that's no knock on his skill set. I just think that that's what Avery's always played. I think that in terms of age and, obviously having a lot of years of experience in the NFL, I think he's more comfortable playing that nose than a 3-4 defensive end. So if you're asking the question, like, what does it look like? Like, name a player who's just a legit nose tackle, Avery Jones would be that guy.
Yeah, and he's a little lighter than Devon Hamilton, but not as athletic as what you're telling me.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair enough, and that's fine. I mean, some people have different traits. But so what I'm trying to do is I piece this thing together, Austin, is I say, okay, you got a couple of guys capable of playing that nose, because that's where this 3-4 defense really starts, right? I mean, you've got to be able to clog that middle. He's got to be able to take up a lot. I think of the Vince Wilforks of the world, right? You got to be able to do that. And then you bring over this guy from Chicago, who, by the way, the more things are popping on social media, Chicago fans rave about him. It does look like that rising star kind of guy that they're trying to grab at a good time and for a decent price and then get the most out of him. And so now this fits on one of those sides. You said the 3 technique, and you've already got these 4 guys that can play at that 3-4 part with the linebackers with Miles Jack and Schobert and Chason and Josh Allen. And so now you start plugging people into that depth chart, and it can make a little bit more sense. Still need to do a little bit more work, probably a lot more work, but this is the first puzzle piece for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and what they will most likely show are shades of this 3-4 look.
Yeah, and listen, there's still plenty of time left in free agency, obviously, but Urban Meyer said it himself. The defensive line needs to be addressed, and this is an example right now of the Jacksonville Jaguars addressing the defensive line. So is it going to be the only piece? I doubt it. I'm sure more guys are coming. Do we know exactly, because there's a couple guys last year. So obviously Gunter is out, but Al Woods. Is Al Woods technically still on the team, or how does that work, Brent? Do you know?
Well, he would have to be reinstated, and I think Urban Meyer addressed this last week. I can't remember at which session. I want to say it was last Tuesday when he met with the media on that Zoom call, and he said he's not sure where all those guys stand. Okay. I do think we have to take the Gunter situation and say he's never playing football again.
Yeah.
That just seemed too severe to me, man. Like, they caught that at the right time. It was good. He got lucky. The tone of his messaging out of that was he's never playing football again, in my view. So I've kind of said, okay, gosh, I hope he's healthy for the rest of his life, but I don't think he's playing football. Al Woods comes in as what, like an 11-year guy? This would be really year 12 after missing last year and opting out. Big body guy.
Yes.
I think there's potential for him to be back on this roster, but I do think you start to wonder about aging out and how much is left. And after missing a year, I think all those things come into play. New regime, of course, too, and how they view him, and a new defense. Although he's such a big body, you'd figure in a 3-4 he'd be able to fit in as well. So to answer your question, I don't have an answer. I don't think Urban Meyer had an answer, but I do think we have to at least put those guys on the back burner until we know something more about him.
No, I mean, you have to keep his name, just in the realm, just because if he was to come back, obviously right there's another depth or maybe even a starter at the nose tackle position. Like, when we start breaking down this 3-4 defense more and more, Brent, as the season progresses here and as we ramp up to the draft and everything, you're going to hear me say a lot about savviness. And that, to me, is what the nose tackle is all about. It's savviness. You don't have to be the most explosive player out there. Like, first step obviously helps, and athleticism obviously helps. And if you can rush the passer, well, then more power to you. But that's not what you need out of a 3-4 nose tackle. What you need is a crafty veteran presence who is savvy enough to be like, okay, my job is to take on double teams and take up space. No, I probably can have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 sacks this season, and that's okay. That's not my job. My job is to occupy space. And we mentioned a guy like Avery Jones. We mentioned a guy like Al Woods, like those guys. And once again, no knock on their skill sets or where they are at their careers right now, but you think of savviness and you think of the ability to essentially clog the holes.
Yeah, I think so too. I that's how it's all about up there, and I do think it's worth. We have talked about this, but I do think it's worth saying again. In the you got to be a little careful to sound like we did last year, me especially. But they were trying so hard to stop the run last year and get better against the run. Well, they failed again, Austin. Like, yes. They tried, but they failed. They put all this emphasis on stopping the run, and they failed. That's where it starts once again for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They cannot be obliterated in the run game like they have been for the last 2 seasons. You can't succeed. You play catch-up too much. You can't stop anybody. You get in 3rd and 3 situations, and that's impossible as a defense to continuously get off the field. So they have to fortify their front 7. They have to be beefy up front to be able to handle the run game. And so all of this points to that, at least with the defensive line to begin with. You can throw in there that he can get pressures. You can throw in there that you might see him get to the quarterback here or there. I think that's fine. But if I'm in that Jags building, I want the guy that can stop the run, fortify against the run, and make sure we're not embarrassed in Jacksonville against the run to give us a chance in the back end.
I've spoken on this before a little bit, and believe me, Joe Cullen will make sure that he has guys out there that are able to stop the run. Because if there's not, then he's going to find those guys. Like, if he has to put his hand through a wall to find guys, he's going to find guys to stop the run. But Joe Cullen takes pride in that. I think Urban Meyer does as well. I think that defense of coaching staff is all on the same page when, yes, quarterback, sacks, turnovers, those things are all important. But you still win the game of football in the trenches. And you have the AFC South Division, who's going to feature some pretty good running backs this up-and-coming year, so you got to stop the run. There's going to be an overemphasis on that point, and I'm not mad at it. We also have a little breaking news in terms of Tony Khan's.
I'm reading the same thing right now.
Tony Khan's clapping back on people right now. I like it.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
There were a couple of reports out of Baltimore. This one from the Baltimore Beatdown, who obviously covers the Ravens. Multiple non-reputable sources saying Ravens and Jaguars are near a trade. Zeus, meaning Orlando Brown Jr., going to the Jags. DJ Chark being traded to Baltimore. Hoping for something more concrete before a post is made. We want to acknowledge the rumors. Thank you for acknowledging the rumors. We appreciate that, Baltimore Beatdown. Very nice of you to acknowledge the rumors, meaning we wanted to be in the mix just in case it really does happen. That's an acknowledgement of the rumors. That's today's journalism. We get it. Tony then claps back and says, here's something concrete. That's the biggest load of crap I've ever read. That's 100% false. I guess DJ Chark isn't going anywhere because Tony Khan is basically saying he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could have said that a lot of ways, but hey, I appreciate this style. You know, he's being featured on Impact Wrestling a little bit, talking smack with them. Maybe he was in the AEW mode. I'm not mad at it though, man. At least he set the precedent, addressed the rumors. I'm not gonna lie, Brent. Like, I saw that tweet earlier this afternoon about the Baltimore beatdown, saying that the Jaguars might trade away a first-round draft pick in DJ Chark. And you better believe that I had all my gifts, I had all my videos ready to go because I thought the world was going to fall if that was going to happen. We're okay. Tony Khan addressed the rumors. We're all good. And it's all calm on the Western Front again. Like, that was I had a bad feeling in my stomach when I read that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, listen, I will say this. I saw that report, and I really gave it no credence because I can't get over that. I know we had these conversations last week, but I just think I'm right on this front, okay? I think once again, even Friday at the Players' Championship, Urban Meyer said good things about Cam Robinson. He's had conversations with Cam. They see a high ceiling for Cam. They think his best football's in front of him for Cam Robinson. They have committed to Cam Robinson with the franchise tag. And yes, folks, I understand you can rescind the tag. Yes, you can. But that's also viewed, and Austin, you weren't here to say it, but I think I spoke for you. I think players would view even the rescinding of a tag, even though they don't always love the tag, as kind of bad business. Don't offer me that and then 3 days later take it away.
Yeah.
You know, that's the equivalent to me of offering a kid a scholarship and taking it away. You do it sometimes, but it's bad business. I don't think that's the way Urban Meyer, Trent Baalke, and the rest want to start the tone of this new regime, this new era. It doesn't make sense. You can't go profess your love for the offensive line. We did see Andrew Norwell's contract get restructured, but he obviously was never getting traded. So those talks, this team, this franchise, whether you like it or not, they like their offensive line. They kept their offensive line coach, Tim Warhop. They want the continuity for their rookie quarterback and franchise quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. And some of that makes sense to me. I'm not telling you Orlando Brown isn't better than Cam Robinson. He is. That'd be a better player.
Yes.
But they're not doing that, and they're also not going to give up a nice young piece on offense and take away from Trevor Lawrence. It made no sense.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like, you know me, though. I guess I'm a little more naive now. Obviously, I checked the verified account and everything, and it all checked out. But I was still worried, man. I don't want the Jaguars to lose DJ Chark. Like you said, I think he's a great building piece. He's a great foundation piece. And the last thing you want to do right now in a new regime is trade those guys away.
Well, Tony Khan says it ain't happening. DJ Chark's not going anywhere, so put to bed that rumor of the day and get used to those kind of rumors, all right? That's what's going to happen over the next 72 hours. It's kind of the fun of it in a way, but you also have to be a little bit careful, and we have to continue to say, even Robertson-Harris over from Chicago, the Jags' first free agent signing, is reported by Mike Garafolo, very trusted report. But it's reported. It won't become official if it does happen until sometime most likely on Wednesday, and it could even be further than that. More reaction to the Roy Robertson-Harris signing. What does it mean for the Jaguars? We'll keep you posted around the league. The Patriots making big waves, plus a little recap of the players. We got a lot to get to on a Monday, a fun Monday. Here from St. Johns County to the Action Sports Jack Studios. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Plenty of sun today. It'll still be mild with highs in the 70s at the beaches to the lower 80s inland. Mostly clear tonight and down into the upper 50s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffin Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right.
At any of the Jacksonville area locations, Smoothie King, rule the day.
My community means everything to me. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The training and leadership skills I get from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people and look out for my community. If you'd like to learn how you too can serve part-time in the community you love, visit nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
In Florida, it's not if the storms are coming, it's when the storms are coming. And that's why you need the Chief. Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, with a proven track record of keeping local families safe. Rain, heat, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes. We get it all. Just more reasons why you need the Chief. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, backed by the First Alert Weather Team. Only on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at hondaoftheavenues.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're invited to shop at the White Harvest Farms and Farmers Market every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a market of fresh and affordable farm-to-table produce that comes from a 10.5-acre urban located at 4850 Moncrief Road. There's volunteering, classes, and farming demonstrations. Also, if you're interested in becoming a vendor or volunteer, call 904-354-4162 or visit the White Harvest Farms Eventbrite page. White Harvest Farms wants to be your favorite produce market. This initiative benefits the Clara White Mission.
Max. At a certain point, you know it so well, it's like muscle memory. It's second nature, and you don't have to pay attention to the technique anymore. That's James Harden, the MVP of the league. And by the way, every season, he's among the finalists for MVP.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Austin Lane.
And I'm going to regurgitate it to you. I'm like a mother bird right now, and I'm spewing it in your mouth.
Brent Martineau.
You got doves flying and mother birds all week.
I'm trying to baby bird you right now, man.
Yeah, well, this is why I tease stuff and don't get to it.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
After 15 years in the Saints and 20 years in the NFL, our dad is finally going to retire. So we can spend more time with us. Yay!
Yeah, well, your dad used foul language with me. Had some very graphic words that he called me one time. But okay, you guys enjoy retirement.
You might have to tone that down in the house.
Better tone that down in the house, Drew. That's all I'm going to say.
Going forward.
Ain't going to fool me. Yeah. But no, congratulations, Drew Brees.
Speaking of, like, we swore a couple times over the weekend, and the kids heard it, and Kaylee got, like, all mad at us.
For
she's
swearing?
Like, yeah, she's like, if you guys are going to keep doing that, that's not acceptable.
Whoa, Kaylee. Kaylee.
Come
on.
I was like, what are we doing here?
What? But like talking
going on here?
Talking to like a guidance counselor? Like,
oh yeah, it was totally like role reversal.
Yeah,
it was wild. It was
That's
like
a trip.
Especially coming from like Kayla. I was just a little surprised. I figured she'd be like spouting right back at us.
Sure, interesting.
But all right, Roy Robertson-Harris. Get used to the name. Another dual namer, the seamstress at Jaguars won't like that. With a hyphen. Takes a little more time. You were nice and easy, Austin Lane.
Oh, you better believe it. In and out, man. You know what it is. L-A-N-E. Let's go.
So Jags get a defensive tackle. And, again, a lot of people are liking this move. I'm not going to kid you here. He wasn't tops on the radar. And so we thought with all the big money in the big primary spot of defensive line, we thought maybe the Tomlinson or obviously a Leonard Williams before he got tagged or one of those kind of players would be more in line to be maybe a blockbuster first-day move for the Jags. This is not what you would categorize as a blockbuster, but it's being well received by many, including Jags fans, the more work you do on Robertson-Harris. And it looks like the best way I can categorize this, again, is a guy that played as a rotational guy, depth guy for the most part, did have some starts, but was very productive in his role and is ready to take that next step. So they could be getting a rising star here in Jacksonville. We'll see. But so far, pretty well-received move for the Jaguars. We will talk to Drew Brees a little bit more coming up later on. If you've seen the rumors about DJ Chark and folks out of Baltimore talking about Orlando Brown, ain't happening. Tony Khan just dismissed that on social media, so don't worry about DJ Chark. That's what else has happened in the first half hour here of our show, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 on a Monday. Free agency, begins on Wednesday in full earnest in terms of official stuff at 4 o'clock. But it really started today at noon. We know the reports will start to fly. Legal tampering, if you will, can start. It can only start with the agent, not the player, unless the player doesn't have any representation. Guys like Richard Sherman can talk directly to the teams. So it started at noon, and here we go. The Patriots have been very active. We'll get into that part coming up along the way. But I think really the headline outside of the first signing or first reported signing for the Jacksonville Jaguars is the tight end position. Brent Martineau here, Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jack studios. Jonnu Smith inks a deal with the New England Patriots, Austin. Yeah. How much pressure right now? Well, first of all, how much does that surprise you? And secondly, how much pressure right now do you think the Jaguars are under to sign Hunter Henry, Gerald Everett, someone like that, and make a splash or make any kind of signing in the tight end room?
I'm a little surprised. I'm not sure in terms of the list of priorities what fell in what place for Jonnu Smith. Maybe he just wanted to get out of the division. It could be a possibility. Going to New England where, the quarterback situation is kind of a mystery. They did re-sign Cam Newton, but we kind of saw what Cam Newton brought to the table last year. So from Jonnu Smith's perspective, I'm a little baffled at it. Now, he's making good money, and sometimes money is the most important thing. But I have a hard time believing that the Jacksonville Jaguars didn't offer him as much, if not even more, to come play, here in Jacksonville. So I'm really curious to see, when they interview Jonnu Smith, what went in the decision to go to the Patriots.
Well, what's interesting there, Austin, too, is you go to a Patriots team that really is void of a quarterback. Yeah. So he's going into an empty space. Okay, Cam Newton, but come on, we know Cam Newton's not the future of that team. So what they are doing, obviously a ton of respect for the Patriots and for Bill Belichick, so I can see that. But what's going to happen there for your career versus maybe going to a place like Jacksonville, knowing what the quarterback situation could be like and knowing that you are so needed in that room because they don't have much. It's an interesting decision what it did come down to, and we really don't know how much the Jags were after him. We just knew that was one of the big names out there. But now it shifts. Okay, he ends up in New England. By the way, New England's spending some money. Matt Judon as well going to the New England Patriots, according to another report. That's the latest. Patriots are spending some money, and they have a lot of it to spend. Jaguars been a little bit more conservative to this point with the one signing for $24 million over 3 years. But we said this all last week. From a perception standpoint, whether this is reality or not, from a perception standpoint, they don't get Hunter Henry. And they don't get Jonnu Smith, it feels like you lost free agency. Like you have to beef up that tight end room. There are other ways to go. You could trade for Zach Ertz. You could pick up Kyle Rudolph. You could go get Everett. But it just felt like with those two blockbuster guys out there, Hunter Henry doesn't get tagged, he's available, that you could get Smith or Henry. How much pressure on the Jags to get somebody and maybe even to get Hunter Henry over the next day or so?
Yeah, there definitely is some pressure. In my opinion, Hunter Henry, he's in the tier above everybody else right now. I had Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith in that same tier. I think when Zach Ertz is healthy, he could be considered in that same tier. But it begs the question in terms of health going forward with Zach Ertz and the injuries that he's had. So you lose out on Jonnu Smith. And obviously tight end is, if not the most pressing priority, next to defensive tackle. So you lose Jonnu Smith, so you're essentially left with either Zach Ertz or Hunter Henry. I think Gerald Everett could be intriguing, but to me, he's just a tier below what Jonnu Smith or Hunter Henry could be. And then when you bring up a guy like Kyle Rudolph, I'll be honest, and maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe Vikings fans could tell me differently, but I just feel like Kyle Rudolph is like another Tyler Eifert that you're bringing on the team.
Yeah,
Now maybe, you get more out of him in a new offense with Trevor Lawrence. But if the Jaguars were to announce that the big tight end signing is going to be Kyle Rudolph, I'll be honest with you, Brent, that does absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's what you just said is right. Hunter Henry, trade for Zach Ertz, or get like an Everett, I think would at least appease people. I think it starts with Henry. Yeah. It might then go to Ertz because of the name, although I wonder if Everett's a better player at this stage of things. And so the bottom line is, the overall question is, I still think there's a ton of pressure on the Jaguars and their front office right now to go get something in the tight end room. Mm-hmm. Here's the deal. They have Josh Oliver. You could get somebody else in the draft. So you don't need multiple people at this stage of it in the tight end room, even if you want to rebuild it, because there's a good chance somebody else on that roster sticks, Austin, from a special teams to a blocking standpoint. So somebody else could stick, even though it's not a name you're going to fall in love with. That happens. It could be your fourth tight end. You still want to see what you have in Josh Oliver because, quite frankly, we haven't seen a darn thing with a third-round pick. And then if you could get something substantial that we could grab onto, like Ertz because of his name, or Henry because, well, production, and we'll dismiss the injuries for now, or Everett because, well, you signed him, gave him some money, and we can believe in that. I think it's vital. It's really – there's so much good momentum around here. I don't know how vital it is internally to make you a better football team right away, but we know that room has been missing so much. I think it would tell the fans a lot. We're trying to fix this darn room, and it all starts this week, in my opinion.
No, it absolutely does. And I understand there's still intrigue for Josh Oliver because we haven't really seen anything from him yet due to the injuries and stuff like that. But and listen, I hope Josh Oliver comes out, and I hope he's a Pro Bowler one day. I really do. But you're going to be naive to think, okay, we're going to pen Josh Oliver as our starter, and we're going to be okay going forward. Because we haven't seen him in a lot of games. We don't know what type of run blocker he is because in college that was kind of his thing where he's aggressive and he's willing to learn, but he's not the best run blocker. He's a good pass catcher, but we also need a run blocker here. So, like, in terms of the depth right now, I mean – I don't care who the tight end – you just need more tight ends. It's as simple as that. Now, that's one thing, but then obviously you're bringing in Trevor Lawrence and you're bringing in this whole new offense and stuff like that. You want to get – I don't want to say a bona fide, but you want to get a tight end that is going to command the defense's attention. That when you're sitting in those defensive meetings going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, you got to put that tight end on the board and say, all right, guys, we got to stop this guy a little bit. We got to shut him down. We have to know where he is at all times. When's the last time the Jacksonville Jaguars had that? Probably
really, you can make the case
back
never.
in 2010?
Maybe. You can really, if you want, and I love Mercedes, but you can make the case never. Yeah. I mean, you can really go all the way back and probably make the case. Haven't had that, not the way the game's played now. You know, not with like Darren Waller, not with the way Hunter Henry has been when he's healthy, not with the way Gronk has helped change the game, not with the way Kyle Pitts might come into this league. You know, No, they just haven't had that. And they've just been void of good production. And all you have to do is look at most of the good teams in the league have production and good production at that spot. It's such a nice weapon to have for your quarterback, especially a young quarterback, a franchise quarterback that you're going to add in about 6 weeks or so. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot like this. We'll both answer this question. What do you want to see happen? Not what do you think will happen. What do you want to see happen? What would make you the most happy?
Yeah.
Go get Hunter Henry and take a risk on the injuries. Go trade for Ertz or go sign Everett.
If you're asking me right now, I'm going Hunter Henry. He was always the guy I wanted in the first place. I understand there might be a little injury concern, but I'm going to risk it, and I'm going Hunter Henry.
Yeah, it's a risky business in free agency anyway. I kind of agree with you. If I think like the organization, I'm probably staying away from Henry. If it's my money I'm spending, I think that's too much of a risk. So I could see if they land in Everett or maybe try to make a trade for Ertz. They have so much draft capital, and people know that they want him out in Philly or he wants out or he's not going to end up there. So I would think the organizationally, I'd probably put more money on like a move for Everett at this stage. But in the way I asked the question, you know what? For right now, let's get this room right and try Hunter Henry. Go for the splash. You know, they tried it years ago with Julius Thomas. It didn't work, but at least they tried, right? It turned out to be a bad signing. But at least they tried to get a plus player in the room, and it didn't work. You got to keep trying. It's just such a bad room right now for the Jags and has been for way too long. All right,
tell you what, Brent, we also got some more news we'll bring back when we come back from the break here. Mike Garofalo reporting that Jacksonville Jaguars they're bringing somebody else to town now as well.
Oh, let's go get it. We'll talk about it when we come back. Got to keep on Twitter, but you got to stay with us. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 rolls on Free Agency Monday. Next.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. One of the best to ever do it hung up his cleats this weekend when 20-year veteran Drew Brees announced his retirement. Brees has just about every award and accolade the position offers. Here is ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter with more.
He announces the decision today, courtesy of his kids, 15 years to the day that he landed in New Orleans. He bids goodbye to New Orleans. He's staying there, but he bids goodbye to the football team. He went to that franchise at a time when nobody wanted to go there. New Orleans had just gone through Hurricane Katrina. It was losing. It was not a destination. And Drew Brees turned it into one of the winning organizations in football.
And here in town, congrats go out to Justin Thomas for taking home the money after winning at the Players' Championship by one stroke over Lee Westwood. This Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Mike Greenberg. The biggest difference between the athletes of today and the athlete of Shaquille O'Neal's generation is Twitter. And with Twitter in particular, social media in general, but with Twitter in particular, the generation of athletes who grew up in that consider it to be important enough that they do not ignore it. They hear it, they live it, they respond to it, they internalize it. It matters to them.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer
for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Don't miss the Heritage Event and Classic Bike Show at BMW Motorcycles of Jacksonville, Saturday, March 20th. Join us to experience the all-new R18 and R18 Classic. Make your plans to stop by BMW Motorcycles of Jacksonville and enjoy live music, food, and motorcycles at 1515 Wells Road in Orange Park. This event will follow federal, state, local, and BMW COVID precautions and procedures to ensure a safe and comfortable experience. Don't miss this event this Saturday. Live music, food, and motorcycles at 1515 Wells Road in Orange Park. Go to bmwmcjacks.com for more details.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
The Max Kellerman Show.
The Nets started out the season without James Harden, who's their second best player, and then have played recently without Kevin Durant, who's their best player. Also, when Kyrie joined the team, he and Harden had to figure things out. There was an adjustment period. And so the Nets' record does not reflect, their entire record does not reflect the team they've become.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
12 years old, got my dad here with me. 12 years old, I was a big WWE fan.
Yeah.
I loved it, thought it was 100% real.
So did I.
And big Triple H fan. CM Punk, he's fighting here tonight. I was a big fan of his. He showed me a UFC fight one time, and I don't know if you guys remember WWF, WWE, you know, you can have a belt, fight a random match, and it wouldn't even count. He said, look, them dudes holding those belts, this for the championship every time they fight, and this is real stuff. They're not flipping tables and going crazy with chairs, all that stuff.
This is the real deal.
And just to see that it's a sport, but it's real fighting. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It just attracted me. I've done a little bit of MMA training just to see how it was, and I gotta tell you, it's the hardest training in the world. Those guys out there, they put everything into it. I've done boxing as a training, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done.
I'm not getting this one. That sounds like an NFL guy. That's kind of flirted a little bit with the MMA.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Austin Lane.
Nope.
Do you know who it is?
I do.
Am I right? It's an NFL guy?
It's an NFL guy.
It's going to be a big guy, tight end probably. I'm not going to get it. I don't even know where to go with it.
Brent, that would be Roy Robertson-Harris.
That's it?
Roy Robertson-Harris. Yes. So, hey, I can't wait to get him in the gym, man, for some off-season workouts.
That's
hey, Roy,
fine.
I got you, man. Hey, no, all the credit, seriously, all the credit goes to Kevin from Duval. Sent me that video on Twitter.
Very good.
You guys have something in common. So, yeah, thank you, man. I passed it on to Coos, and then we delivered it to you farm fresh. But, no, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Hey, you know what I was thinking? Roy Robertson-Harris, by the way, a guy the Jags, reportedly signed. Nothing official, but he signs. He's a defensive tackle from Chicago, going to probably play on that outside of that 3-4 on that front. And some people are saying he's 6'7", Austin. I saw him listed at 6'5". But if he is 6'7", and let's just for the heck of this conversation,
well,
6'7", 295 or something.
Yeah.
Well, now you're talking about a guy who's starting to resemble like Calais.
Yeah.
You know, because Calais, like 6'8", 300, would play sometimes over 300, sometimes under 300.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of body you're talking, kind of athlete you're talking at 6'7". Now, I mean, that doesn't mean he can't play like Calais at 6'5". I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a visual, folks. Once you say 6'7", 295 or 292, whatever it is, I start thinking Calais' body. 6'5", I start thinking some other people's body. It just, that makes a difference to me.
No, I mean, listen, 2 inches can make a difference. And when you think of 6'7", you think of, well, what does Calais Campbell do a great job of doing? Getting those big paws up and knocking footballs down. So I'm trying to find, like, if he's got any combine numbers, like the official height numbers. I'm still looking that up right now. But, I mean, hey, if he's 6'7", yeah, go ahead and give me that length, give me that reach all day.
So we got a couple other signings. Jamal Agnew, and this just moments ago from Tom Pelissero. Jaguars strike again. They're signing safety Rudy Ford to a 2-year, $4 million deal. Now, that seems like a depth play. Rudy Ford from the Philadelphia Eagles, who, again, God bless you if you know a lot about him.
Yeah.
But 6', 205-pound safety for the Eagles, according to Pelissero. He's a 6th-round pick out of Auburn back in 2017. The other signing that just happened before the break, and you teased, Jamal Agnew. This seems like a special team signing, although it's a decent amount of money where they might see him on the offensive end from a gadget play or just a speed play. Remember, Urban Meyer said he wants speed at the wideout position, wants speed on the field. But he emphasized speed at the wideout position that they can get better at. And so Jamal Agnew played at San Diego, signed with the Detroit Lions. He's got like 5 career return touchdowns, mostly punt return touchdowns. I see him as a punt returner first, Austin, although the reported deal, could be worth like $21 million, I think I saw. That would seem to indicate they want to put him on the offense a little bit and run some things with him. But keep in mind, this guy just transitioned from cornerback to receiver last May.
Yeah.
He was a corner just making the move to receiver. So an interesting signing with Agnew for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, without a doubt. But with Jamal Agnew, I'm reading right here, so at his pro day, ran a sub 4.4. So, I mean, that goes to show you how fast that dude is. I think he's a guy definitely brought in for special teams purposes, but with that money, you could probably do some gadget stuff with him as well. Obviously doesn't bode well for Keelan Cole then going forward.
Yeah.
Right, Brent, you'd think?
I think you're right there.
It's all but on the board where he's probably going to go someplace else.
Hey, here's what it's interesting from a return standpoint. We're going to get into a lot more of this, but I think back to Urban Meyer at Florida, Percy Harvin, even Brandon James. He really emphasized the return game at the college level, and what he had there was just dynamic guys. Well, this guy already, since he got into the league, has 5 return touchdowns, and we know kickoff return is really a lost art anyway. It doesn't happen much anymore, but punt return can be a special weapon for you. So it's an interesting signing to beef up special teams, but how they use him on offense potentially and how they use that speed, I feel like it's more of a gadget kind of role. And I'm trying to – everything that we do now is relevant to the Kansas City Chiefs. So this isn't Tyreek Hill because of the speed, but could they use him like they use like a Sammy Watkins, like behind the line of scrimmage or something like that? I'm trying to find out where I could picture this guy on their offense because you already have Laviska Shenault who can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I mean, like we're getting at, I think that you're getting a guy who's a versatile returner, and then if you throw him in with a gadget play, so be it. But I think this is a guy primarily being brought in to do what he does best, and that's special teams.
Yeah, I think the Rudy Ford one, too, is interesting because what they're doing here early on is signing special teams a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you get a safety for 2 years, $4 million, that's a special teams play probably, too, or a backup or a depth play at safety.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of young guys at safety we just don't know about or don't know enough about after the draft of last year. I shouldn't say a lot of young guys, but they got some. So special teams a target right off the rip for Urban Meyer. Well, we haven't really heard talk about special teams a lot.
Yeah.
But he's speaking with actions here on day one of free agency by signing some of these guys. All right, let's take a break. We talk more about them. Jags basically have 3 guys on the roster, according to reports. Not yet official, but we're going to talk like it is. How does it fit? Plus, a couple of thoughts on Drew Brees and how he helped change the game the way it is today. I think it's pretty significant. And one, how it relates to the Jacksonville Jaguars. All on the way. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 on a Monday.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks R Us training helpline. Today we're explaining the term verified alarm to all you newbies out there.
Oh, boss, I can explain that. A verified alarm just means that whatever caused the security system alarm to go off has been verified.
Correct. And what alarm company is known for providing the fastest verified alarms?
Safe Touch Security.
Exactly. Because Safe Touch has the two-way communicator, which leads to alarm verification within seconds.
And alarm verification is very bad for us crooks.
Yeah, unlike a non-verified alarm that police label a low priority.
Like right below getting grandma's cat out of a tree low.
So, to sum up, verified alarms. Just one more reason we crooks have the golden rule: stay away from Safe Touch houses. Remember that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, kitty, kitty.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
DSC. There are so many razors out there. How do you choose which one's right for you? Well, at Dollar Shave Club, we got you. With a 6-blade cartridge for daily shavers with short hair and a 4-blade cartridge for less frequent shavers with longer hair. Still confused? Well, we put both blades in one new starter box, so you can test drive both. Check out dollarshaveclub.com/ESPN, dollarshaveclub.com/ESPN, and visit DSC at your nearest store. You've got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
Now at a store near you.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And so we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the Patriots ready to spend all that money they have this offseason. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, New England agreed on contracts with a couple of players today. 4 years, $56 million with former Ravens pass rusher Matthew Judon. 4 years, $24 million with Eagles DB Jalen Mills, and 4 years, $50 million with former Titans tight end Jonnu Smith. Expect a much different New England team in 2021, says ESPN's Booger McFarland.
New England Patriots are going to run the football, play action pass. That's where the tight end comes at. Jonnu Smith is going to be deadly over the middle. But the The hallmark of this team is going to be their defense next year. It's going to be lights out. They have their pass rusher, the guy that can get after the quarterback. You add Chung and Hightower. I expect this to be back being a formidable unit in New England.
Schefter also reports the Buccaneers and star pass rusher Shaq Barrett agreed to a 4-year deal worth up to $72 million. Barrett will join Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti tomorrow morning at 9 Eastern. Indiana fired basketball coach Archie Miller after 4 mediocre seasons and no NCAA tournament appearances.
What? Just 15 seconds to talk about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea? That smooth taste of real brewed iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol? What? We started already? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Y'all some real ones. I'm just glad I could keep playing where I started my career. And for everybody who think they know where I was going, you guys are funny. I didn't even know where I was going. People were jumping to conclusions since I'm training in Miami that I'm coming here. I had no clue where I was going, but, you know, God always make it work for you, so always leave it to him and he got you, so.
I'm thinking that might be Shaq Barrett on his Instagram or something.
Is that Jonnu?
Both wrong.
Man, Brent.
Aaron Jones.
Oh, yeah. That was a big-time surprise to me.
That was surprising.
That Green Bay made that work, especially with A.J. Dillon, who they invested, I think, a second-round pick on. I was very surprised they were able to sign him to a new deal.
Yeah, I think, and I'll say this, maybe they get another good year out of it. I don't think they're going to see the best of Aaron Jones in this contract. I might be wrong, but I think they've already seen the best of Aaron Jones. That's
the thing, though, Brent. They don't have to see the best of Aaron Jones when you have A.J. Dillon on deck. Like, I think that it's going to be a timeshare.
Yeah, that's fair, but 4 years, $48 million, man. I mean, for a running back spot. That's pretty hefty.
No, it's hefty, but it's also what you're getting with Aaron Jones at the wide receiver position as well. And when I say wide receiver, I mean, you know, the receiving threat that Aaron Jones is. Like, what I envision for the Green Bay Packers going forward is a lot like what you saw in New Orleans when you had Mark Ingram and you had Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara will be the Aaron Jones, and he'll probably be the featured guy. But when you got to pound the rock, when you need those tough yards or the goal line situations, that's where A.J. Dillon comes in.
I don't want to keep Sakib hanging anymore. Let's get him on right now. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane on a Monday, free agency Monday. Hey, Sakib, I guarantee you and nobody else had Roy Robertson-Harris, Jamal Agnew, and Rudy Ford, first 3 off the board for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Put it on the bingo card.
Not really. I'm just kind of surprised with the kid getting $21 million. I would rather get a Cole back. At least we know the guy. I've never heard of – I watch a lot of football on Sundays. I've never heard of that guy. I'm sorry to say that. I hope he's good for the $21 million for 3 years we're giving him. I would love to see Juju Smith. I would love to see another guy come in. But I'm kind of surprised they would give a guy that's like going to be just a punt returner, a kick returner, $21 million. I'd rather get Cole back because I really – I enjoyed watching Cole for the last 3-4 years. And I'm sad that he's going to be gone right now because I really love Cole a lot, man. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Sakib. Yep. Thanks for the call, man. Austin, take it away on that one. I got to go start my car so the battery doesn't run out.
Okay. What's happening? Okay.
Is the camera, the battery keeps saying it's having trouble.
Oh, I don't know what's going on anymore. All right, I got you. So Sakib makes a great point. Sakib, I don't want you to get distracted, though. Like, I understand the wide receiver spot when you got guys like Smith-Schuster out there and Gaudet. Those are the sexy positions, but we got to keep our eyes on the prize. We got to keep on talking about tight ends and putting that in the universe because that's what this team really needs. Like, yeah, if you get Kenny Gaudet or Smith-Schuster, that's only going to help your offense. But the biggest hole right now on this team might be the tight end position. So you definitely got to address that as well. As far as Jamal Agnew is concerned, And by the way, nickname is Swagnew, and I didn't make that up. That's actually listed
I
here.
saw that.
And I'm not mad at that whatsoever. So go ahead and get your Swagnew trademarks in right now, whoever's going to be making T-shirts. When I look at the stats and I look at how Detroit used him, and we're looking at a guy, for the most part, who's got 16 career receptions in 4 years, right? So he hasn't been used a lot in terms of, the offensive capabilities. I think he had his best year last year where he started 2 games, had 20 targets and 13 receptions. So maybe I just messed those numbers up. Yeah, okay, so he had 13 receptions. It's a special teams get.
Keep in mind, he was a corner now. He was a corner until transitioned over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say about it. I think this guy's going to be primarily a special teams guy, maybe a gadget guy every once in a while. I'll tell you what, though, I see rumblings, but what about Curtis Samuel now? Are they get rid of, because Curtis Samuel's a guy that's been kind of rumored as well.
Yeah.
To me, it has nothing for Curtis Samuel. I think Curtis Samuel could still come to Jacksonville just because you have Agnew here with special teams and maybe a gadget every once in a while. Doesn't mean you don't get Curtis Samuel as well. I just think that you spend a lot of money on a special teams guy. And if he's really as good as advertised, then so be it. But it is a lot of money.
I think this, Austin. I think Roy Robertson-Harris, the signing there, who not a ton of people know about this guy, it looks like they feel like he might be hitting his peak, right? He's a rising star. The next few years are going to be very good. He's going to take a jump. I don't know how good that means he's going to be, but I think that's what they feel. I think if you look at this Jamal Agnew, it fortifies and makes you dynamic in the return game. And then you might also say, hey, this guy can grow into this role. We can do things with him. He's not going to be a primary guy. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler at the receiver position. But we value special teams, and we think we can do some things with his speed on the offensive end. Whether it's 3 plays a game or 8 plays a game, I don't know. But so I'm looking at this as a return guy, too, early on, a fortification of special teams with the Rudy Ford signing as well. But I don't want to rule out the offensive end when the guy is 4.34 in the 40. They want to add speed. They do add speed. And with all the wrinkles people are putting in on their offense, with all the different players, again, go back to Kansas City. What's Kansas City doing with their offense? Well, you have no idea who's going to beat you any given Sunday. Now, they have stars in those roles, so it's amped up a little bit more. But the bottom line is they can get the ball to about 7 different people who can have a big-time day on any given Sunday. The Jaguars and all the rest of the league want to mimic that. They want to become as deep and dangerous as possible on the offensive end. I think this guy gives you a wrinkle or two. Not as much probably as Laviska Shenault. Won't be used as much as Laviska Shenault, but he might add into the playbook somewhere and make it dynamic. I think that's what this is. I don't think it's anything more than that until we see more from him, but that's okay. That's what they're buying into. And listen, I have no idea if it's going to work. I don't know how good the guy's going to be, but that's what the signing says to me.
Here's the interesting thing of what's transpired so far with this team in free agency. Because usually we see the first day of, and once again, it's not officially free agency quite yet, but it's like the first day of what? Of tampering, I guess you would say, whatever.
Yeah, tampering. Legal tampering. It's the best phrase
tampering.
Ever.
It's the best. So you have a good idea where guys are going to go. Usually you see the big names come off the board right away. We talk about the high-priced free agents, the game changers, the guys that come in and make a difference right away. Now, we saw Jonnu Smith go to New England. I think you can argue and say Roy Robertson-Harris, he's going to make a difference here in Jacksonville. But then it's followed by 2 special teams guys. And I just had somebody actually text me who's, you know him too. He's with the he covers the Eagles, let's just say. But he compared Rudy Ford to a much faster Cody Davis, who was with Jacksonville at one time, to set a scene a little bit.
Depth safety, special teamer.
But we both agree now that special teams is a very big emphasis here. Not to say that it wasn't before, but I find it very I don't want to say intriguing. I find it very peculiar, I guess, because we're talking about a team right now in Jacksonville that poached a lot of coaches from Baltimore, that is trying to, I think, in my opinion, do a lot of the things that the Baltimore Ravens do. Well, what do the Ravens take great pride in maybe more than anybody? It's special teams. John Harbaugh was a special teams coach before he became a head coach.
True.
So they value the special teams players. And if you look at how it's shaken out right now with the defensive line help, obviously, and then 2 special teams guys, that screams Baltimore Ravens to me right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does. I think it also, if you look at all the good teams, all the good football programs, college, heck, if you want to go high school, but let's go college and NFL. Special teams is something that is emphasized by big-time coaches. You don't think Nick Saban emphasizes it? Heck yeah, he does. Bill Belichick? Heck yeah. We know Tom Coughlin came in here and made it a point. He was having starters play on special teams. And now that I say that out loud, I do remember early on someone asking Meyer about that question and the value of special teams and him talking about it. The bottom line is, Urban Meyer values special teams. He knows that's a big piece of the pie, and I think we're seeing it. He's been less vocal about that since he took over. But I think his actions are speaking very loudly about what they want to do on special teams. And some people are saying now that Jamal Agnew is the best return man maybe in the game, you can argue. So he got better there. It's not this sexy, big, oh, my gosh, $90 million play, but it's a guy that they can buy into, and it does fill speed. He wants to get faster. He got a 4.34 guy. I want to shift the topic a little bit. We'll get back into, we'll keep updating on what the Jags are doing, what the reports are. If you're just jumping in, Roy Robertson-Harris, a defensive tackle from Chicago. Jaguars reportedly have grabbed him in free agency. It's the first one, 3-year, $24 million deal, so I'd call that a moderate deal. Then we're talking about Jamal Agnew. He's a return man specialist, shifted from cornerback to receiver. We'll see how much he plays in the passing game and on offense for the Jags, but he's a return man specialist at the very least over from Detroit. And Rudy Ford is a backup safety, but a special teams guy. So that's the 3 that the Jaguars have made a play for, at least reportedly so far here on this Monday when legal tampering started around noontime here in the NFL. Free agency really kicks off at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Austin, Shaq Barrett goes back to Tampa. They found money in the pirate ship. It's amazing how they move some dollars around and create space, and they keep Barrett, and now they've been able to keep Godwin. Good for them. They're doing more than I thought they'd be able to do. They keep Lavonte David, too. Who would have thought they'd be able to keep all 3 of those players? I did not. I don't think anybody did. They found a way to keep it for another run. They're trying to make another run, and good for them. They should be trying to make another run. I will say this, though, and I told you this last week. I thought Barrett was a little bit buyer beware on how much you'd spend for his productivity on a consistent level. And I think this is one that benefits the Jags. I think this would have been tempting for the Jags. I don't know if they would have been in play for him, but if they were, I think this one is one of those moves that could have bit you at the end of the day. And so I actually kind of like him staying in Tampa, the Jags be able to put money elsewhere. What I do wonder now is with Judon going to New England and with Shaq Barrett staying, what are the Jaguars going to do, if anything, in free agency to try to beef up their pass rush? Or are they going to really put a lot of faith in a guy like Chason to take a big step?
Yeah, first of all, and you know how I feel about Shaq Barrett, I would have loved to see him come to Jacksonville. I understand that maybe you could say he regressed a little bit this past year, but the guy had 59 quarterback pressures in 2020.
Yeah, pretty good.
That was good for third in the NFL. And that's the second straight year he finished third in quarterback pressures. And when you have a guy like Yannick Ngakoue, who used to always praise, well, he doesn't always get the sacks, but he gets the quarterback pressures. Like, pressures can make the difference as well from an edge rushing standpoint. I feel like Shaq Barrett would have been a home run here in Jacksonville. So
I'm on a limb on that, too, by the way. Like, I'm on a limb. I know. I get a lot of people would have been excited about Barrett.
Yeah. But with that being said, Barrett stays in Tampa Bay. The salary cap doesn't exist. Congratulations to the Buccaneers. What do the Jaguars do now? I like Matthew Judon. He's going to New England, so he's out. I still think you address the edge rush situation, whether it's going to be a starter or depth purposes, because once again, I mean, it's not just a base defense. You can run NASCAR packages. You can run speed packages or whatever Bob Sutton and Joe Cohen are going to call these packages, but you still need to address the edge rush, I believe, because Caleb Chason this year will be a lot more at home. But once again, how confident are you that you're going to get high productivity out of a guy who kind of came on at the end but didn't really show you that much last year playing out of position? So I still think they address it. Who that guy could be, I'd have to do a little more deep diving because, like I said, Matthew Judon was the guy I thought that they were going to be looking at with Joe Cohen coming from Baltimore and everything. So I think they address it, but who it is, though, is the big question.
Well, and here's where I'm going with it, Austin. How much does this show, hey, they see some growth in Chason too. Chason could easily be a guy that I didn't pick him. He's not part of our draft class, our regime. We're going to slide him into a depth role until he shows us more. Is this showing a little bit of confidence potentially? Now we'll see what they do in the draft, and there's not a lot out there early in the draft when it comes to pass rushers either, but there's always pass rushers to get.
Yeah.
I just feel like this says a little bit about confidence in Chason taking a step and being in this 3-4 kind of defense and being the first-round pick that they thought they got.
Yes, but once again, have they even met with Chason yet? Has he been to the stadium?
I don't know.
Do they know, how is he? I don't know. I mean, it's a legitimate question. Like you said, he was coming on at the end, and he looked a little more comfortable out there. But is that enough to say, okay, this guy's our starting, whatever it's going to be, weak side or strong side outside linebacker going forward? Probably weak side of linebacker going forward in a 3-4 defense. I don't know. I think there's a risk there. I think when you got guys like, and I'm just throwing names out there, you got guys like Ryan Kerrigan, Justin Houston, who has a tie to Bob Sutton, who played in Kansas City, obviously, with Justin Houston. Bud Dupree is a guy coming off that ACL.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about that. And once again, we have a GM who has taken risks before with guys coming off of major surgeries. Clowney. I mean, there's still names out there. Melvin Ingram could be another guy. So I still think they address it. It may not be the biggest name out there, but I think overall you got to add depth, if nothing else, for depth purposes. So, yes, I think they address somehow. It just may not be that big name that you want to hear, like a Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, and obviously Barrett wasn't available, but I don't think I think it does say a little bit about Chason. I do think they'll add depth as well. They need more. You need more, no doubt about it. Could it come in the draft? Could it come with a little bit of a B-list or C-list kind of guy? We'll see. One other note about the pass rushers. Austin, we had these conversations for 2 years, and it's Shaq Barrett signs a deal which is about $16-17 million a year for a guy who's really over 2 seasons now had 28 sacks, and you just mentioned the pressures. He's probably over 100 pressures in 2 seasons. So that's like one of your top guys in free agency. Maybe he would have commanded a little bit more. I'm not so sure because I don't think there's a such thing as a hometown discount type of thing. Maybe he wanted to keep the band together and he took an extra less $1 million or something. I don't know. But the bottom line is a market that at one time for players like Frank Clark and DeMarcus Lawrence had ballooned to 5 years, $105 million, and we thought was going up and up and up, has certainly crept back down. I mean, that's just fact. And it's been a wild thing to watch, as interesting and as valued as a commodity as a pass rusher is. The dollars have corrected, and they are not where they used to be for a pass rusher.
You're not wrong. You definitely aren't wrong there. It is fascinating because I don't feel like I don't know. I don't really know what to attribute to this. Obviously, there could be some buyer's remorse from guys like you just mentioned. Whether it was the whole D Ford thing, Frank Clark. I see free agency right now, and like you see a guy with. And to me, what really started this off was Clowney, right? Because Clowney was the big name when Yannick Ngakoue came out. Like, right, where's Clowney going to go? And then Ngakoue falls into place. Well, Clowney eventually goes to Seattle, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know what I attribute to it because I still feel like the need for a pass rush, it's one of the most important things in the league. But I just feel like guys now, and when I say guys, I mean coaches, they find a way to get that pass rush and manufacture that pass rush, whether it's from blitzes or things of that nature. So I do agree with you. I think the stock of a pass rusher has gone drastically down, but all it takes is that one big guy, right, to kind of put it back on the board again. Now, Shaq Barrett could have been that guy. I'm not sure if he took a hometown discount or not. I think keeping the band together says a lot about Tampa Bay because they all seem to be re-signing there. So there could have been a little bit of a hometown discount. But until we see like a monumental, free agent guy pay off at the edge rush position, maybe like a Von Miller, we'll see if he can go to a new team and dominate how much money he's going to command. But until we see that, I don't see why the price wouldn't keep on dropping.
Well, and here's the deal. I want to be a little careful. We're not talking about something that's like gone crazy. We're not talking like Bitcoin dropping back down to like 50% or something of what it was. We're talking about a correction, like a correction that we would see on, well, the normal stock market. We're seeing deals that were 20, 21 million and pushing toward more, 22, 22 and a half, 23, that have dropped back down now to 19, 18, 17, 16. And to your point on Clowney, you take Clowney with his 3 sacks in his name and his resume, maybe, I don't know, let's just say 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you put him in free agency like he was last year, and bam, somebody's going to throw money at him. You know, somebody's going to say, I'm taking a risk on that. Not so much the case. You know, not so much the case. It's not like write your own deal. As a pass rusher these days, it doesn't feel that way. And you're right. I don't think Von Miller is going to be the guy who's a little long in the tooth now, but we'll see if there's a wave that comes about. There are a variety of reasons. We've explored them in the past. Yannick Ngakoue has been a big loser in this game in that respect because he's losing money. I mean, from what we thought the value could be, he's still going to make a lot of money, but he's losing where we thought the value could be, and even probably he thought it could be. But I wonder if it's more from people are attacking on a rotational basis. I wonder if it was the Clark, the D Ford, the Lawrence deals that scared people and said, wait a minute now, we're paying this much for 9 sacks? That's what we're paying for? When we're paying this much for like 7? You know?
Yeah.
Like, where's the cutoff?
Yeah.
And so I think there's a variety of reasons why, and obviously the cap this year will play into some of that. But it is pretty fascinating. It's happened in front of our eyes at one of the most important positions. And why we bring it up, well, it certainly has impacted here in Jacksonville with the Yannick Ngakoue front in the past, and maybe what they want to do going forward, whether it was a Judon or even a Barrett if he had come available. But I think what's interesting to note is it hasn't changed it in some other positions. The quarterback position just keeps going up and up and up and up. And so it's not like we're seeing an overall correction in the dollars of the league. Those salaries are just going to keep going up because the TV money is going to be there as we go forward. I just think it's a very interesting note to say the pass rushing money right in front of our eyes has dropped a bit, probably a good 20%, 15, 20% instead of gone up. And that's unusual in sports. It's just unusual in our day and age in sports.
And what I'm very curious about is what the defensive tackle rate has done the past couple of years. Has that gone up? Because, the way the game is going now, I mean, when you have Aaron Donald last year, tied for second most sacks in the season, when you have a guy like Leonard Williams who's 7th with 11.5 sacks, and you have, DeForest Buckner up there as well with 9.5, you see guys that are 3 techniques now that can get after the quarterback, number 1, but number 2, obviously, are nightmares in the backfield and stopping the run. Not to say that edge rushers aren't that as well, but let's be honest. You expect your bona fide 3 technique to be a game record in the run game more than you do sometimes the edge rusher. So I wonder now if there's more of a commodity on paying 3 techniques going after those guys, because we've seen what Aaron Donald can do to guys around him. We saw what he did with Dante Fowler. We saw what he did with Clay Matthews. Heck, we saw what he did with Leonard Floyd this past season. Leonard Floyd had 10.5 sacks this past year. Chicago just cut him loose and said, we're done with you. So we've seen the power now of the 3 technique position. And I wonder if that's trying to, that's starting to gravitate and shift how we perceive the edge rushing position.
Yeah, it might be. It's a good call. And again, some of this is rotational. Some of this is what have you done once you signed the deal, guys, before you set that. And you've got to really look back and say, okay, once this guy signed, how much did he get more sacks than he had? Or did he drop off? And I think we're seeing a lot of drop off. Jaguars fans aren't going to like this one either. Josh Johnson reportedly going to the Cleveland Browns. I know that was a target for some. It was one of the names people liked on the list. And so some of these big names, I want to talk about this coming up.
Yeah, it's a
the
safety,
Jaguars
man.
have a ton of money. Is it the philosophy not to go spend it big in 2021? Are we starting to see already here early, in the early hours of free agency, that Urban Meyer, Trent Baalke, Shad Khan said, hey, we're not going to go spend 80% of this cap of what we have available. This is going to be a calculated and responsible spending spree, although we will spend some. Let's talk about it when we come back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Very fluid. We'll continue to give you updates on free agency.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690. Partly to mostly sunny today. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s at the beaches to around 80 degrees inland. Mostly clear into the upper 50s tonight and a warm Tuesday. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow with highs around 85. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill, St. Augustine, is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy eggs, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient, breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
Here in the Sunshine State, we live in 2 time zones. We cheer for 3 NFL teams. We have over 3 million men over the age of 45, and over half suffer from ED or PE. If you're having problems in the bedroom, you'll see results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. If pills like Viagra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain and no surgery. You'll see results right in the office, guaranteed, or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Contact Prime Men's Medical Center to schedule a private consultation. Call 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jewell's in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Voted best wings in St. Augustine as well. Visit williejewels.com and visit Willie Jewell's at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
Last year, over 2 million people called Morgan & Morgan in their time of need. So who are our clients? They're people just like you, people who share our values, hopes, dreams, people who believe that dignity is a God-given right, people who fight for a better tomorrow for their families and their children. And when they needed a personal injury attorney, who did they choose? Who would you choose in your time of need? There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Have you seen it? The all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota is open, and they're ready to celebrate with big savings, even on pre-owned. Celebrate savings and hearing the words, "You're approved." That's right. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. Plus, if you want selection, Arlington's got it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, what are you waiting for? Celebrate with savings and come see the brand new facility at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
The Seminoles are here.
Ducks anybody got more. Good shot again. Walker is going crazy. Knowles win it all. Just a triple. Good shot. You'll hear the horn. The Knowles will win.
Catch the action all season long right here on your radio home of the Seminoles.
Hear FSU basketball on ESPN 690. Thanks to Donato's Pizza, where every piece is important.
Brent Martineau.
Some NBA play-by-play here this week as well, right here on ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
Hey, you all right?
Yeah, I know. You looked over like, are you going to make it?
Yeah, man. I'm making sure we're all good here.
Hey, listen, I get choked up about the new lineup.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Well, they're going to look internally first. And, of course, they still have Taysom Hill on their roster. Last year did have a couple starts to, let's say, up and down results for the New Orleans Saints. But my understanding is the likely starter, Tom, for 2021 is going to be Jameis Winston, who, by the way, is not under contract with the New Orleans Saints. They'd still like to work out a deal with Jameis to return, a deal that limits the risk, doesn't cost a ton of money. We know they don't have a lot of cap space, but does allow him to maximize his upside in New Orleans. They loved what they saw behind the scenes from Jameis Winston in practice. It's just a matter of seeing it out on the game field, and likely that is what we will see this coming season.
Well, if you're curious if the salary cap of the NFL exists,
it doesn't. See
the New Orleans Saints. Maybe the ultimate move in creativity with that deal for Taysom Hill. 4 years, $140 million, all voidable. I mean, that's like, that was creative. And you got to have a player, I think, that's willing to do that too. And if he does well, then the framework is then there. So pretty interesting stuff on the Taysom Hill front, what the Saints are trying to do. Listen, I understand, Austin, that the salary cap is not real in a lot of senses. You can do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But if you're watching what the Saints are doing right now, they are jumping through a lot of hoops to try to stay competitive, be competitive in 2021. So, yes, there are always ways around it. But this is not ideal for New Orleans. I think at one time they were like $56 million or $60 million over the cap. You have to do a lot of dancing, man, to get back to where you need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if the Saints got like a stimulus check early and they're just like, all right, let's go to Taysom Hill with it. I have no idea what they're doing. I understand that there's a lot of language in that contract. But at the end of the day, what is he going to make this up-and-coming season? 20-something million? Would it be? Or am I wrong?
I don't think it was that high. I thought I saw somewhere like 9.8 or something like that.
Okay,
so I'm seeing so many dollars, so that might not be the right
Brent.
one.
I mean,
but
I see
sure.
$140 million, Brent, for Taysom Hill. That's what I see.
Yeah, but that's not it, though. That's
the
point.
I know.
That's not it.
Yeah. I get that. It's just, it's crazy to me. It makes me want to go back in time in 2010 when I started my first game in Dallas and just go up to Gene Smith and be like, hey, man, go ahead and pay me some more money because I started a game. I'm a fifth-round pick, and why not? We can afford it. Help me out. I'll help you out. Like, it's insane.
It certainly feels that way. So it does. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, here on a free agency Monday. It's been a lot of fun, and it's fluid. We got to keep track of everything. Real quick, the Jaguars, Robertson-Harris, defensive tackle. That's their big spend right now. 3 years, $24 million. Jamal Agnew, special teams ace in terms of return man, 4.34 speed. He has 5 returns for touchdowns in his NFL career, all pro back in 17, I think it was. And Rudy Ford, safety. This is a special teams play at best for the Jags, and that's all they've done. So, surprisingly not making the splash plays. John Johnson just got picked up by the Cleveland Browns. That was a guy that I know fans had on their list. Shaq Barrett back with the Tampa Bay Bucks, another guy they had on their list. Jonnu Smith to the Patriots, another guy Jags fans had on their list. I don't know if Matt Judon was on the list, but he was potentially another big-name signing. This is not happening. I want to get into that in a moment. Why are we not seeing the Jags spend big yet, or right now, or maybe at all, this year in free agency? Are we starting to get a peek into their philosophy for 2021? But before we do that, let's go to the line. Steven's on the line, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Not too bad, man. How you doing?
Hey, not too much. Given to Austin's point earlier about edge rushers and everything, if they don't go at them, could you possibly see them going after one of these big-name guys in the draft, like a Jordan Smith out of UAB, Patrick Jones? I know there's a couple off the top of my head. I mean, I did a mock draft for shits and giggles last night, and I got all three juggernaut monsters from Pitt University line: Rashad Weaver, Patrick Jones, and Jalen Twyman.
Yeah. Okay. That's good, Stephen. Watch the language, please, Stephen. And you are way ahead of us on all these deep dive and draft guys. I think as we hit free agency and then poke into the draft in hefty order with shock your mock kind of draft season coming up next week. But Austin, I think they'll get depth in the draft regardless, whether they sign a guy in free agency. And like I said earlier, it could be a B-level, C-level kind of guy. Maybe it's not the big splash play. Maybe the big splash play is already kind of gone. I don't see him bringing Yannick Ngakoue back, but I think they're going to add to that room. I think they're going to add to pass rushers. We all know you can't have enough of them. That's cliche in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so with all the picks that they have and with all the money they have, I would be stunned if they don't add probably two to that room in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously go, I'd probably lean towards the third round, if anything, because keep in mind, the way it sits right now, you need tight ends. A safety has to be in play. I still think a defensive tackle has to be in play as well. So there's still some stuff you got to address first before an edge rusher. But if there's a guy that you can't pass up there in the second or third round, I can see that. But if it's me, I'm going in a different direction off the get-go.
All right, keeping a big signing as well. I know we were talking about this guy last week for Miami potentially, but the Chargers expected to sign All-Pro Corey Linsley per sources, so he's away from Green Bay, which we knew was going to happen. And if you just catch it up, John Johnson signing with the Browns, again, a safety that a lot of folks thought maybe the Jags could be after. I want to talk about this philosophy. Are we getting a look into what the philosophy is, Austin? The fact that they're not just going to go get in this arms race, these bidding wars, go spend it because they have it. Is this a little bit of a sense of what Urban Meyer, Shad Khan, Trent Baalke are putting together of a plan when we ask the question for weeks and weeks, how much will they spend? How active will they be? How much of that cap room do they want to use in year one? When, let's be honest, we know they're not going to win a Super Bowl in 2021. We think, I mean, heck, there are some people who think maybe they can make a playoff run. I'm the president of the Sunshine and Rainbows Club, and I'm not even putting that on my list, okay? So we know where they're at. They're a 1-15 team. And whether you agree with it or not, it sure looks like they are treating this year of free agency as almost a slow build and take some of the risk away to put them in position down the road, 2022, 2023, to then spend and go get the guys they want to add to the room when they're ready to win. Because I heard that a lot during the build of Bradley and Caldwell. It's like, well, we just don't think we're ready to take that next step, so maybe it's not the time to go spend $85 million on this guy. If you look at what they did in 13, 14, 15, it wasn't much. In 16 and 17 is where the Jags spent a lot of their money because they thought they were ready or they were desperate by that point to win, one or the other. So I sense we're trending in that direction in year one of Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke here with all the money they have to spend, and so far they've spent about, $15 million a year, and they're going to sign more probably, but certainly haven't broken the bank.
They haven't broken the bank. I'm glad that you're about 20 minutes away from me right now because I want to put you in a rear naked choke like I did on Saturday. Because
what did I do?
Because you're talking about let's just slow play this thing till next year. No, like you think Urban Meyer wants to slow play anything? You don't think Urban Meyer wants to win right now? And listen. To have the audacity and say, well, we went 1-15 last year. I like what we got on the roster. We can make this happen. There's no way. Like, if it's me, you spend what you have and you get as many pieces as possible because there's a lot of holes in this sinking ship that need to be taken care of. I am literally typing in Hunter Henry every minute on Twitter and hitting the refresh button like an addict because I want to see Hunter Henry come to Jack. So, like, that's where I'm at right now. I don't want Urban Meyer his first year. We're talking about 4 or 5 games. What happened to the excitement? What happened to Urban Meyer saying we're going to turn this whole thing around? You can turn it around in 1 year, but you need talent to do that. And you have a roster that went 1-15. I understand you have a lot of draft picks at your disposal, but that won't be the end-all, be-all difference. You have to address this stuff in free agency. So if I'm them, I'm spending money.
Well, don't get so mad at me. I'm just trying to figure out the philosophy.
But you're talking about slow playing this thing. I don't want to wait another year of slow playing a 5-win season.
Yeah, well, so far, I'm just telling you that's what it looks like. Again, we're hours in. I'm not telling you to hit the panic button either. I'm just saying in the early stages of this thing, when you're targeting 2-year, $4 million special teams guys in the first 3 hours of free agency, that's weird. All right? That usually comes like next Sunday. We're like 5 days into this thing and everybody's going to – that's odd. Going after a return man who you think can make you dynamic, you put a lot of emphasis on it. He's maybe one of the best in the game. Like, I get that a little bit more. That makes some sense. I want to go get my guy. But this is a moderate-level deal for Robertson-Harris. It's a depth play in special teams for Ford. I mean, this is just not this inclination of we're coming out storming out of the Jags headquarters and we're holding cash in our hands and we're going to spend it. It just doesn't have the look of that. And by the way, they obviously didn't throw more than the Patriots threw at Jonnu Smith. They didn't get him. So I'm with you. We'll see what happens with Hunter Henry, and I still think that tight end position is very important. But I think even if they got Hunter Henry, which would definitely add the splash to it, I think this is not the Jags saying we're going to go spend as much as we can to get better right away, to win as many games as we can right now. I think this is a longer view at free agency. I don't think that means they don't want to win. I just think it's a longer view of what they're trying to build here over the next 3 years rather than, all right, we think we can go attack it all right now.
Just fix the issues. Get it? Just get. What do you want me to say, man? I've been saying the same thing like it's Groundhog's Day for the past couple months. Get a tight end, address the interior defensive line. If you get a safety, that's fantastic. But like you have to address those things. It's not even a fact of slow playing it or waiting till next year. It's a fact that you need to address those things. Like you need to. I don't know, man. I don't think Urban Meyer's gonna be the guy that's just gonna say, all right, let's save some of this money for next year when we got our feet underneath us a little bit. Like I feel like Urban Meyer wants to come in and make a big splash right away, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I thought so too, but give me the splash. I mean, now Brent, the pool is calm. I need a cannonball.
But listen, Smith-Schuster's still available. Kenny Galladay's still available. Hunter Henry's still available. Everett's still available. Bunch of three techniques still. Like, let's not get too crazy here and saying, well, the Jaguars are slow playing this thing because they didn't get anybody yet. Like, there's still a lot of people out there to sign. It's just be patient.
That's a good point. That's a fair point. I like that. There's still a lot of names out there. Joe Thuney, by the way, 5-year, $80 million deal. Chiefs corrected that issue in a hurry on the offensive line. That's a nice get for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Kuz had to use the drop button once. He almost had to use it again on you. But he didn't.
Slow playing.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 rolls on. Right after this, free agency Monday has turned into a frenzy.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. One of the best to ever do it hung up his cleats this weekend when 20-year veteran Drew Brees announced his retirement. Brees has just about every award and accolade the position offers. Here is ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter with more.
He announces the decision today, courtesy of his kids, 15 years to the day that he landed in New Orleans. He bids goodbye to New Orleans. He's staying there, but he bids goodbye to the football team. He went to that franchise at a time when nobody wanted to go there. New Orleans had just gone through Hurricane Katrina. It was losing. It was not a destination. And Drew Brees turned it into one of the winning organizations in football.
And here in town, congrats go out to Justin Thomas for taking home the money after winning at the Players' Championship by one stroke over Lee Westwood. This SportsCenter update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Vote for this week's ESPN 690 High School Athlete of the Week, presented by Honda of the Avenues. Each week, an athlete with the most votes will be announced on Action Sports Jacks. To vote or nominate your favorite student athlete, go to ESPN690.com or check us out on ESPN 690's Facebook page.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
How's it going? Oh, let me tell you how it's going. So far this year, I've broken my pinky toe, had a flat tire, and currently I'm trying to pass a kidney stone the size of Rhode Island.
Well, karma strikes again.
What?
Nothing. Oh, look, it's the first Crooks R Us survey of 2021. They're asking crooks like us to list the top reasons we avoid safe touch houses.
There's the crash and smash technology, the video monitoring.
Yeah, but what's number one?
Gotta be the two-way communicator.
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah. The two-way communicator leads to verified alarms, which lead to faster response times, which are all very bad for us crooks.
Which all just circles back to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Got a business trip, long weekend, or maybe you just really want to try that new Toyota before you buy it? Then get it all when you rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. With easy online reservations and rental rates as low as $19.95 a day, there's nothing stopping you from hitting the open road. You can even rent 2021 models. Rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Try it before you buy it and reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jewell's in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Voted best wings in St. Augustine as well. Visit williejewels.com and visit Willie Jewell's at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Small businesses continue to face many challenges resulting from the prolonged pandemic. Business owners are working hard to maintain customers, adjust operations, and retain key personnel. At SCORE, our highly trained counselors are here to offer their assistance. In Jacksonville, SCORE provides services to almost 6,000 individuals annually. In addition to ongoing mentoring, we are conducting webinars on topics that can provide timely advice. Visit jacksonville.score.org today for links with more information.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Happy March and almost happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate at Culhane's Irish Pub. A special menu for the day and catering available too. Culhane's Irish Pub has 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day at culhanesirishpub.com. But don't wait until March 17th. Go today for lunch or for dinner. Eat in, order out, happy hour, or even try the luncheon, brunch, and boozing specials. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Making popcorn for movie night? Whoa, who are you? This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless. What if every time you tried a new streaming service, you had to buy a new TV?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, some wireless companies do that when you switch. Make you buy a new phone.
Right.
But TracFone Wireless lets you keep your phone and your number and your network, and gives you unlimited talk and text starting at $20 a month.
Seriously, who are you?
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Oh, you're burning it.
Oh, no.
See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
This kid has unlimited upside, and I'm not saying that I'm not trying to just throw out a bunch of hyperbole. He is the secret. He's kind of like the wild card in this quarterback derby, because he has as much skill as any of them, if not more than any of them. And I forgot to say this. He also ran for 1,000 yards. The son of a gun is a battering ram. quarterback power draws. I mean, he's an absolute battering ram. 6'4", almost 6'5", 225 pounds. Beautiful specimen. Beautiful. And a great kid. You would love him if you talked to him. I mean, if I'm the Falcons, if I'm the 49ers, if I'm the Panthers, all these teams looking for quarterbacks, and if I'm the Patriots, I'm sitting there going, how in the hell did we get up there to get that guy? Just look out for Trey Lance when we're sitting there on the desk in Cleveland in a couple of weeks.
Wow, how about that? That is Louis Riddick, and interviewed for a couple of GM jobs, by the way. Really high on Trey Lance. I waited for the Trey Lance conversation. Not that the Jags care about him, because they're getting Trevor Lawrence, a different TL.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that. So Urban Meyer was at the Players instead of going to North Dakota in the Pro Day. But I waited for you to come back, Austin, because I know you have some ties up there in North Dakota State. I know you have a lot of folks that really talk highly of Trey Lance. And I read a lot over the weekend on Lance, and, he gets you excited. If I'm one of these teams, he'd get you excited, no doubt. There's a little bit of an issue with accuracy, some think. But it's funny how that gets a little bit dismissed now because of the success of Lamar Jackson and also the success of Josh Allen. And Josh Allen has changed that around. Now, I think that's dangerous for teams to put all that into those two guys because Lamar's just different anyway. But Josh Allen has really improved, and they've done a heck of a job being patient with him. But those comps to the inaccuracy would worry me a little bit, but it seems like there's a ton of upside on Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think with Trey Lance, this is a dual-threat guy, obviously. This guy can, he can run as the day is long. I think with him, it comes down to being in the right situation. If he can find the team where all the dynamics work and everything, he's going to have a lot of success, I think, right away. I think the accuracy and the mechanics, that'll come along, but I feel like where his base is at, and I get it, the sample size is small from only one game this past year, but I think with where his base is at, his mentality and the attributes that he also brings to the locker room that you don't see on the field, I think is going to make him a pretty great quarterback for a long time.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Trey Lance does and where he goes. Do you still think San Francisco is a possibility?
I do, but I'll be honest though, the way that the quarterback carousel has kind of, shown its head a little bit, this can be anything. I have no idea where Trey Lance is going to go. I thought San Francisco would be a favorite to land him because I think Shanahan would embrace the skill set that Trey Lance can offer, but there's a list of teams I think Trey Lance can go to.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's going to be somebody maybe even jump up and get Trey Lance. They're going to fall in love with that part of it, no doubt about it. We're going to talk Drew Brees in just a little bit. We'll catch up on free agency. Hey, did you know that the bracket is out?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Interesting move with the bracket. It's going to adjust your schedules. There's not the Tuesday play-in game, the first four. Instead, it starts on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are the first and second round. You're going to have to get used to that, Austin.
No, that's going to be it'll be different. I requested a TV in here when the show started a couple years ago. Still haven't got that TV in here, but thankfully I got my monitor with my YouTube TV account. Hopefully we got that. I guess they don't show them on ESPN Plus, do they? So that's out of the question. But, yeah, I'm going to be watching a lot of basketball during our show, so you may have to take over for a while.
Yeah, I kind of like the schedule, though. It changes it up a little bit. And, I think as you get a little deeper, we're going to see some Monday, Tuesday games. I didn't even realize that, though. I just wasn't paying attention enough. Yeah. But now that the bracket is out, we're paying attention to it. Florida State and Florida, of course, in 7 seed, 4 seed. I like Florida State's bracket. I don't think Florida's good enough to do anything special. But I do like FSU's bracket. Of course, you'll be able to hear the game coming up this weekend on ESPN 690 as well. Your home for Florida State basketball. Hey, when we come back, in the 5 o'clock hour, I will mention the Players' Championship just for a moment or two. But I want to talk a little bit about Drew Brees as he retires and how much he's changed the game and what it means to be getting Trevor Lawrence punch this home. Plus, we'll keep up with the fluid situation in the NFL free agency and recap what the Jags have done so far. If you're just getting out of work and just getting in, Jaguars have made 3 acquisitions, at least reported acquisitions. Not blockbusters, one moderate deal, a couple probably to help special teams. We'll talk about it some more. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 rolls on.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair, all one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And so we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill St. Augustine is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy egg, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Patriots, coming off a rare missed playoff season, spending some cash today. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports New England agreeing with former Ravens linebacker Mac Judon. 4 years, $56 million. Former Titans tight end Jonnu Smith, 4 years, $50 million. And former Eagles DB Jalen Mills, 4 year, $24 million. Smith is a definite upgrade for the Patriots when it comes to their pass catch game, notes ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
I think Jonnu Smith is going to play a bunch of different roles for this offense. I do believe that this offense is going to look very different than anybody in the NFL. They're not going to play spread out, sideline to sideline football this year. They're going to play shrunk down football, pound it. We play really good defense, some additions and special teams, but Jonnu Smith will be a big part of their offense.
As Coach Bruce Arians vowed at the Buccaneers championship parade, Shaq Barrett's not going anywhere. Schefter reports the Bucs re-signing the star pass rusher, 4-year contract worth up to $72 million. He'll join Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Chiefs upgraded their O-line, agreed with former Patriots left guard Joe Thuney, 5 years, $80 million.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Let me just say, Drew Brees is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I often talk about his accuracy, and, you know, in the recent past, not too distant past, he had something that went kind of viral on social media where it was, I think it was a sports science thing, where they compared Drew Brees' accuracy to an Olympic archer. And from the same distance, the Olympic archer hit a bullseye like 3 out of 10 times. Drew Brees hit it like 7 or 9 out of 10 times, like way better than the Olympic archer with a bow and arrow. Drew Brees is something else with the accuracy. He's not one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever lived. And by that, I mean he's an all-time great, but he's not in the inner sanctum of the great quarterbacks.
I think I would agree with that. That's Max Kellerman from ESPN. You hear him right before us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 right here Monday through Friday. Brent Martineau down St. John's Conoco. Baseball game today. And why not be outside? It's beautiful here today. And coming off the Players' Championship, which was another major success. I invite you to watch our essay on the Players' Championship coming up at 6:50 on Fox 30 and later tonight at 10 and 11 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Marcel Robinson and Stuart Weber did a great job from there this week, and we put a bow on our coverage. Justin Thomas, a good winner for the Players, one of the best in the world, one of the top names in the sport. I wanted a little bit more drama with maybe DeChambeau and Westwood down the stretch, but overall a heck of a golf tournament. Good to be back up at the Players' Championship, and we'll continue to talk about that. But it's a big day for free agency. That's been the dominating story. And a recap free agency here over the next few minutes. But I want to get a quick word in or two on Drew Brees. Do you agree with what Max Kellerman just said? I mean, Drew Brees, obviously the numbers are ridiculous, Austin. You look at the percentages, completion percentage, the 80,000 yards, the touchdowns. I mean, he is one of the greatest of all time. But I get what he's saying. I don't put him in the Brady, Manning, Montana kind of conversation. At least I don't.
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, what a breakdown comparing Drew Brees to Olympic archers. That was the sports science that nobody even asked for. I don't know what the point of that was.
And I love that guy.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's awesome. But listen, I get it. Drew Brees is accurate. You don't got to paint the picture with Olympic archers and everything. You know, do I consider him to be Manning-esque? No. But, I mean, the numbers mean something, Brent, because when we talk about numbers and the Hall of Fame bid in any sport, like, numbers say something. And when you look at Drew Brees' numbers, they're some of the greatest, if not the best of all time. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know where you draw the line. Is he a top 15 quarterback of all time? Probably. Top 10? I don't know. But when you have numbers like Drew Brees has, regardless of the weapons that he had to throw to, that still puts you up there in pretty rarefied air, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think here's where you could make the case that he's closer to that category than we all want to think. Yeah, he doesn't have the Super Bowl rings that those guys usually get put in those kind of categories for, but I think he helped change the game, Austin. I think everybody refers to Drew Brees as why Arizona can go with Kyler Murray, why Gardner Minshew was a thing around here for a bit and had a chance, why Baker Mayfield is the franchise quarterback in Cleveland, and it can work. Who am I missing? Probably somewhere. Oh, the biggest one, Russell Wilson.
There you go. I was waiting for you to
in
say
Seattle.
That one. Yeah.
And so, in that respect, he became a blueprint that allowed GMs to think differently and get off the check-the-box 6'3", 6'4" guy. I can't tell you how much of a difference it is being 6'3" rather than 6'2" to 6'1" to 6 foot as a quarterback in football, not just a pro, but even in high school. Johnny Wolford's a great example of this. Johnny Wolford should have been playing big-time football in the SEC or wherever. He plays in the ACC for Wake Forest, but come on now. Wake Forest isn't the big-time Power 5. He had the moxie to do so. He had the game to do so. The problem was he was just a shade over 6 feet tall, and nobody would give him an offer because he didn't check the box of 6'3". Well, the same thing goes in the NFL until Drew Brees comes along, comes back from the shoulder injury, marries up with Sean Payton and has all this success and changes New Orleans, changes the Saints, and really changes the league because now you have 3 franchise quarterbacks in Mayfield, Murray, and Wilson who are just about that size, and teams are willing to put stock in them, willing to see what they have, and willing to say, here's our franchise, you go get it done. He helped change the game.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. He was, anytime that you put guys, and I don't call him a Mount Rushmore, I'm not going to call him a top 4 quarterback, but anytime you talk about pioneers or some of the best players of all time, they brought something different to the game. And Drew Brees, we always have these preconceived notions of what a quarterback looks like, and Drew Brees at this moment does not look like a regular quarterback. He's on the short side. He's not the most athletic quarterback out there, even though he shook me out of my cleats on a boot, which I, almost tore my Achilles tendon. And then to make matters worse, it was at home, and I got Joe Cullen yelling at me at the sideline saying, how do you let Drew Brees shake you? And I have any answer for him. I'm like, I don't know. I thought he was unathletic, but he proved me wrong. But thankfully, I got a sack on him later in that game, so I made up for it. There's a couple things about Drew Brees that's always going to stand out to me. Number one, it's the fire, and it's the drive. I'm reminded of all the time seeing him in the huddles and the pregame huddles. He was the guy that got guys fired up, and usually that's rare for the quarterback position. Usually you rely on a linebacker, defensive lineman, offensive lineman to rally the troops and get them fired up because you don't see quarterbacks really take charge. Quarterbacks are leaders. Don't get me wrong. But to provide the emotional energy, not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. Drew Brees did.
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, another thing that stands out to me about Drew Brees was the fact that he believed in himself more than money or circumstance. You're reminded of when it was the San Diego Chargers and Phillip Rivers comes in, and there was that whole thing that went down there. He hurts his shoulder, supposed to go to Miami, but Miami couldn't guarantee he was going to be a starter. Drew Brees said, hey, I'm going to be a starter on any team. So if you're going to trade for me, you better guarantee I'm going to be a starter. It's funny because we always talk about these days of the modern era NFL athlete being so selfish and, get the money and all this stuff. Well, Drew Brees was doing that how many years ago? Saying, I'm not going to go to your team unless I'm the starter. So that set a precedent in my opinion. And then obviously just it's the numbers. It's winning the Super Bowl. It's kind of being that family man, if you will. And let's be honest, there's been some trials and tribulations of Drew Brees, too, as well. He had the whole con with the national anthem thing where some players had to put him in check a little bit. But that's what I'm going to remember about Drew Brees the most. It's the competitor, it's the fire, it's believing in yourself, and it's being a champion.
Yeah, and listen, I think it would be a great 30 for 30 someday. Him and Phillip Rivers, the fact that they've retired, they're going to go to the Hall of Fame most likely together. If Rivers gets in, I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But just the dynamic of their story and Rivers being in San Diego and replacing Brees essentially, and him holding off Rivers for a little bit, but then the shoulder injury. And then it gets to this part, Austin. And this is, as much as he helped pioneer the game and change the game for the Russell Wilsons and the Kyler Murrays and the Baker Mayfields, and, again, even a little bit of a splash of Gardner Minshew around here, given that opportunity. I think it comes back to Trevor Lawrence in this town. And that's the kind of impact that Drew Brees had on New Orleans. Drew Brees took an organization that I think had been to the playoffs once in like 40 years, 39 years or something like that. They wore bags over their heads all the time, the fans did. And the city had just dealt with Katrina. And Drew Brees helped, not just him, but he helped. He became the face of the turnaround. And look what they've done over 15 years when they had Drew Brees. There's a very important component here, though. It's the marriage of Sean Payton and Brees and the ability for both of those guys to get it done. So I liken that now to two things. One, look at what the Patriots did. Brady, Belichick. Again, an organization that had been awful, essentially, for like 4 decades. They were not good, people. I know people that were born like in the last 20 years don't know that, but they were awful. They were a laughingstock, much like the Saints of the NFL. And Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Sean Payton, Bill Belichick, they helped turn that. Well, here we are, Jacksonville. You have Urban Meyer. You have Trevor Lawrence. Is this what could happen? Is that the blueprint of Jacksonville? Drew Brees, Sean Payton, could it be Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer? The marriage of quarterback and coach, but especially the quarterback that can turn your franchise, your city, your fan base, your everything around. That's why you can't overstate. That's why you can't talk about it enough. How big this is that the Jacksonville Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick at the time Trevor Lawrence is coming out. Yeah, we're putting a lot on him. But if he delivers the way he's delivered in his career at past stops from high school to college, and he is the real deal, we're talking about that kind of impact on a franchise in a city and potentially even the NFL. You just can't say it enough, Austin, because Drew Brees is the blueprint for that. He changed the entire culture of that place, and he had to deal with other external things. I mean, Katrina was such a big thing there, the emotions of all that. He had to do a lot more, and he did in the community. But I am reminded every time I talk about stuff like this, when I went to Cartersville, Georgia, when I talked to people in Clemson about Trevor Lawrence, they talk about this human being that is going to make an impact in this area as well. Hopefully you don't have to do anything outside of something catastrophic happening in the city like they did in New Orleans. But the impact he could have on the field and off the field, it does remind me of the Drew Brees story. And, man, we can just keep our fingers crossed around here. It's that kind of impact.
No, I mean, absolutely. You know, Trevor is expected to be kind of the Drew Brees of Jacksonville. Now, those are giant shoes to fill. And obviously, I'm speaking more about the on-the-field performances right now than the off-the-field stuff. I think the off-the-field stuff will come later, but I just want to see Trevor Lawrence on the field. What he does in the community and stuff like that, that'll take care of itself, I think, in time. But let's let Trevor Lawrence get acquainted, get his feet on the ground, and then go from there. But, yeah, it goes to show you just how important that the quarterback position is.
And there are other places that are trying this, right? Stefanski and Mayfield, if you want to say. You know, you can go with Murray and Kingsbury. You could say Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson have kind of done it in Seattle.
Yeah.
So, again, this is not just Trevor. It's Urban as well. And Urban has to be a big part of this, what they could do. But it's just, man, where this place has been from a football standpoint to where it could become, because we've seen it happen before, is real talk. You know, now we just have to see it on display and keep your fingers crossed that it could happen. Hey, let's catch everybody up on free agency. But before we do that, let's hit the happy hour horn on a beautiful Monday in this free agency frenzy.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
It's a celebration!
Drop of Vida de Luis tequila imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis, the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. So support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, and all-natural. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Taste the islands in every drop. All right, Austin, overall, we've got 3 free agent signings for the Jacksonville Jaguars according to reports. Roy Robertson-Harris, defensive tackle on what looks to be a 3-year, $24 million deal. I'd call that moderate. Jamal Agnew, a return specialist, maybe one of the best in the game according to some. And he is going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar. Might be able to help on the offensive side. I want to warn people, though, he was a cornerback last May and transitioning to receiver. How much can you expect out of that? I don't know. I don't think much, at least as of yet, until we see him on the football field in that capacity. And then Rudy Ford, a safety, but looks like a primarily special teams play. What do you think of the first three signings of the Urban Meyer era?
Yeah, obviously not the sexiest of signings. I'm sure they have great personalities, but not sexy by any means. But with that being said, I actually put out the bat signal to our friends in ESPN Chicago, and I asked them, can you give me any information about Robertson-Harris? And they got back to me, and I quote, very underrated rotational player for the Bears, great locker room guy. Don't let the numbers fool you. The Bears have a lot of talent on their line, and Robertson was one of the solid players that they had. He gets a chance to start in Jacksonville, where he should prove that he's got a motor and loves the game of football. That's going to be our loss. And that's from Jonathan Hood of ESPN 1000 in Chicago. So at least from his situation, from his perspective, the Bears, he feels like the Bears lost one there with that signing here in Jacksonville. So maybe that does something for you. Maybe it doesn't. We're talking about Robertson-Harris. But overall, I expect more. I expect to be more people, more signings. Hopefully a tight end, obviously. I just think that we're just getting started right now, and we haven't really seen a lot of big money being thrown on quite yet. I'm waiting for that to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, I think as you research the Robertson-Harris move, I think you like it more and more. And to me, it makes sense. It's, again, what I would call a moderate deal for a guy who's on the rise. And so the Jaguars, essentially, this is almost like this extra draft pick in free agency. It's not this overspend on somebody that you hope lives up to what they've done the last few years because they've put it on their resume, and you hope they can contribute the same way, and you're going to give them break-the-bank kind of money. That's not this. This is like this in-between play of where you're really investing in a young player to have the best years ahead of them, and you're getting kind of a bargain. So I think that's the way the Jags are looking at this, and they get it in a much-needed spot. Defensive tackle arguably is the most needed position for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tight end is right there, of course. But for a defense that's been leaky at best and has been awful against the run for the last 2 years, this shores up a little bit of that, gives you an extra body and a big body with athleticism in that spot from Chicago. The other two moves are not going to wow anybody. Again, they're special teams kind of moves. I guess that does get us to what is next. Yeah. The final hour of the show here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're only 5-6 hours into the legal tampering window of free agency. Jaguars already have reportedly got a couple of guys onto their roster. And by the way, those players have now tweeted like Duval and can't wait to get there. So I think they've confirmed these signings. What is next? And it does go back to Hunter Henry. Goes back to Gerald Everett. It does seem like, again, I'm going to say it, because if we get here to Wednesday or Thursday and the Jaguars are still void of a tight end on their roster, then we're going to have a little bit different feel about this thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. Maybe they're slow playing it. Who knows? Maybe they're slow playing for next season, Brent. Take it away from there.
The slow play.
Hey, that word should be banned from our show. But go ahead. I mean,
why? So are you again? You got to say this though. Are you disappointed they didn't throw the bank at Jonnu Smith to solidify that spot, and now kind of have, kind of put themselves in a position? It feels like don't they have to get one of these other guys?
I'm not mad. I mean, I don't know how the negotiations went.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That, of course.
Yeah, I don't know how on the top of the list where Jacksonville stood in terms of Jonnu Smith wanting to come here. Now, once again, you go to a place in New England who right now could have a quarterback problem. I mean, Cam Newton's coming back, but how confident are you in Cam Newton giving you the rock? Now, you go to a great culture and great coaching and all that stuff, and it looks like the Patriots are making more moves here, but the quarterback position still remains in doubt. And you pass up an opportunity to come to Jacksonville where you at least know you're getting Trevor Lawrence. Now, he hasn't played an NFL game yet, but expectations couldn't be higher. I don't know. I don't know if the Jaguars would offer him $3 or $4 million more, if that would have made the difference or not. Maybe. But I just think that the fact they lost Jonnu Smith, I at least believe that there is a backup plan. If that was the plan A, let's just say, I think there is a plan B. But I'm still under the possibilities that Hunter Henry was the goal all along. Now, I could be completely off. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. But I still think, Urban's addressed this, right? A lot of people have addressed this. They know that there's a tight end problem right now in that room. And they know you just can't put a bandage on it with a couple draft picks that you take in, the second, third, or later rounds. It's just not going to happen. So when you bring a new guy in like Trevor Lawrence, we just got done saying how he could be the difference maker in this city. And, you see what Drew Brees did to New Orleans. Well, Drew Brees had weapons. And while you may have some weapons here in Jacksonville, you don't have a proven tight end yet. So that has to be addressed. I can't state that enough.
Yeah, it does. And it'll be interesting to see if that's the next domino or if that's a domino that does fall. Again, you got to remember that this is days long, But it also feels like when you start seeing guys get signed for 5 years, $80 million, this, whatever it is, 6 years, $42 million, you start seeing these kind of deals go off and boom, boom, boom. It seems like a lot. You're like, wow, where's everybody going? Why aren't the Jags involved in that stuff? And in reality, there's still a lot of guys on the list, right?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of players. I think Jonnu Smith's off the list. Shaq Barrett, obviously, off the list. Again, I don't think there was that much of a play for a Matthew Judon. Outside of that, have you lost anybody off your wish list? Really? John Johnson, I think, would be on that list, too.
From the safety position, because he was probably the highest rated safety that was left. I want to get Justin Simmons, but he got tagged by Denver. As far as anybody off
Tomlinson?
my wish list, Tomlinson. But what are they saying about him right now? Is he still available?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on him.
Yeah, so Tomlinson, still on the wish list.
That's my point.
Hunter
right? So
Henry.
He's still available. Hunter Henry's still available.
Yeah.
Gerald Everett's still available.
Yeah. Yeah,
so that's not bad.
Yeah, I'm not panicking by any means. Like, I can see the button. I'm not going to press it quite yet. But the button is making itself known right now. I'm going to say that much. But no, I'm far from the point of pressing it quite yet. Let's just see how it plays out a little longer.
Here's the thing. Let me take you back to 2017 for a moment, because the Jags wanted Calais Campbell, and there was some talk that Denver, hometown guy of Denver, right, that he maybe would go there. Well, the Jags, in perception world, overpaid for Calais Campbell. Now, I think if you go back and look at that, how much was Denver just driving up the price? How much were they really going to get to? How much was this a little bit of negotiation? Bottom line is, perception-wise, the Jags paid a little bit more money to lure Calais Campbell to Jacksonville. And it worked. And look how impactful it was. So I guess that's what we're looking at today, Austin, where you're saying, well, wait a minute now. If you really want to change the tight end room, go throw more money at the guy than the other guys did, and go get Jonnu Smith. But what we don't know is how highly they ranked him, where they had him, how they see him fitting, all this stuff. And the Patriots, by the way, also have a lot of money. So we're not talking about a team that just like you gave somebody this discount. He got a deal. So I guess that's from, I think, what we're seeing on Twitter, or if your first reaction is like, wait a minute now, the Jags have all this money, and you're telling me the biggest deal they look like they've acquired on day one of this is a 3-year, $24 million deal? That's like peanuts in
No,
NFL
for sure.
money.
But, man, you can't be asking the question, how does Jonnu Smith fit? Does he play tight end? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Well, then he fits. He fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Couldn't fit any better in Jacksonville. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. Do you weigh over 240 pounds? Yes. Can you catch a football? Yes. Well, come on to Jacksonville. We got a spot for you.
So I think that's what – it's a little bit of semantics, but I think that's what folks, if they have any issues so far in the early going, it's like, wait a minute now. Why the Patriots spending all this money? You have money too. Why aren't you spending all that money? Why aren't you throwing extra money at a guy like you did with Calais Campbell, like you did with Malik Jackson? When you wanted a guy, you went and got that guy. Like, why hasn't that happened yet, even though we have this money? See, we kind of fall into the trap. We get used to that a little bit because the Jags, for that little period of time, had a ton of money.
Yeah.
And they were spending it. I mean, it was a free agent spending spree, and it worked. Those guys were valuable. Malik Jackson, A.J. Boye, Calais Campbell, those guys played a huge role in the success. So, again, I think you're right, by the way. I think the relax is right now, and let's just see this thing a little bit more. There's still plenty of players out there. Let's catch our breath on it. Really do like the one signing. The more and more you read about it, the more and more your Chicago guy says something about it. I like those kind of deals in free agency because, Austin, from a team perspective, they feel less risky. $24 million is still a lot of money. $8 million a year is still a lot of money. But I feel like they're trying to buy low on a guy and get a lot of value. And I like that. That's what the draft is. That's what some level of free agency can be.
No, listen, and we've heard Trent Baalke mention the term value a couple times in a press conference. So I get that. But the only problem with value, and you're fair to compare it to like the draft, right? Like there's the value in the draft as well. That's great and fine and everything, But with value sometimes comes risk, right? Sometimes you get what you pay for. And if you have a value guy and you expect him to be the day one starter, well, hopefully he's the day one starter. Simple as that. And I'm not going to lie. Like, I like what I'm hearing, from the guy that just brought in from Chicago. I'm intrigued. And I think I'm on board. But to have him be the end-all, be-all and say, okay, well, we're set there with Roy Robertson-Harris, I don't think so. I don't think so from any realm of possibility. So I appreciate the value there, but you still have to address the needs and do so as such.
How many free agents do you think they end up with? They got potentially 3 right now.
Yeah.
Are you thinking 6? Are you thinking 8?
Realistically,
can't be much more than that, can it? I forget how big the classes have been in the past, but I feel like a 3 to 6 window looks right. Is that?
Yeah, I would. I mean, the way they go on special teams, guys, get a long snapper, a field goal holder.
What's interesting, Austin, is these 2 guys, especially this one. Apparently, the Agnew guy had a bunch of teams on him, and so the Jags got him and they wanted him.
All right.
So that makes some sense, but. The Rudy Ford one is like seriously something you usually sign like 7 days into free agency.
Yeah. If you're asking me, I'm going to say I think they get 6 guys, 6 or 7. Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm about with you. I think 6 would be right.
Cool.
All right, let's take a break. We come back. We talk more about it. What's going on around the NFL as well. It's coming up. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 here on a Monday edition. Free agent frenzy. It's been a lot of fun.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Fair to partly cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures dropping only into the upper 50s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com. CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it. Because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut
dealer.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
For survivors of domestic violence in Duval and Baker counties, Hubbard House provides free, confidential emergency shelter and services. Call our 24-hour hotline at 904-354-3114.
Don't miss the Heritage Event and Classic Bike Show at BMW Motorcycles of Jacksonville Saturday, March 20th. Join us to experience the all-new R18 and R18 Classic. Make your plans to stop by BMW Motorcycles of Jacksonville and enjoy live music, food, and motorcycles at 1515 Wells Road in Orange Park. This event will follow federal, state, local, and BMW COVID precautions and procedures to ensure a safe and comfortable experience. Don't miss this event this Saturday. Live music, food, and motorcycles at 1515 Wells Road in Orange Park. Go to bmwmcjacks.com for more details.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Vote for this week's ESPN 690 High School Athlete of the Week, presented by Honda of the Avenues. Each week, an athlete with the most votes will be announced on Action Sports Jacks. To vote or nominate your favorite student athlete, go to ESPN690.com or check us out on ESPN 690's Facebook page.
Brent Martineau. Well, listen, if we wanted to just bump WWE by like a half hour or a few minutes, we should have just rolled your highlight tape.
Austin Lane.
Oh! And there it is. And now Brent's playing ball. All of a sudden, Chapman throwing some high heat at me. Watch out for that suspension, Brent. Real quick, though.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Yeah, so how do the Bears get Russell Wilson? And they've got to stop, and we have to all stop thinking it's just the Bears and the Seattle Seahawks involved. It's got to kind of be, it takes three to tango. And if I was the Bears, I got a desperate need at the most important position, right? So I don't have the ability to replace Russell Wilson. So I call the New York Jets and I'll go, okay, if we send you Khalil Mack and Kyle Fuller, two great defensive players, and our first round pick for this year, will we then be able to send you those three guys? And then the New York Jets take Sam Darnold, your 23rd pick this year, so you keep the second pick, your 2 first-rounders next year, and send them to Seattle, and then Seattle sends Chicago Russell Wilson. So, it's almost NBA-like, right, Jay? And so we've got to stop thinking, how do the Bears do it and only including those two teams? They've got to get creative, and they've got to get courageous. And so I think, finding 3 teams to be a part of it is the best way for the Bears to pull it off.
That is Dan Orlovsky from ESPN, I believe. And
good call.
You know, Austin Lane, don't get me into these NBA trades because, all these guys proposing these trades, they're confusing the heck out of us.
Yeah.
And so I can't follow that. I can't follow 14 picks, 3 different teams involved, 4 players. It's like, can we just make this simple? Just send me a 2 firsts and a second for this guy, and boom, deal's done.
It's definitely crazy, man. No, you're not lying. It's
I like the creativity, but are we out thinking ourselves a little bit here?
No, listen. When it comes to the 3-team trades, I don't even I'll glance at it, but then my brain can only comprehend so much with 33 years of life, Brent, and I can't fit that into my whole brainscape right now. So I get what you're saying. There's no way.
Just worth a mention again. We talked about at the top of the show, but I think it's worth a mention. Probably don't talk about it enough. Your brain escaped any damage on Saturday night. Nice segue.
Fantastic segue. That's awesome. Yeah.
Pretty easy work. I know nothing's easy, but made it look easy. 2.5 minutes in, rear naked chokehold, and got it done on Saturday night in Orlando. You looked good out there, man. You looked like in good shape.
Yeah.
Feel good. You looked like you just in control the whole time.
Yeah.
So a nice win for you in kind of a different way. I think it's kind of cool to get your first submission win. I know you're a big knockout guy. You guys are heavyweight guys, but still, I think you would have probably ideally. I don't even think you probably would have, I'm going to speak for you here, wouldn't have mind getting punched a few times and kicked a few times. It feels like you're in a fight a little bit more. But still, to get the win over on submission, to do it a little bit differently, I think that's a nice thing to add to your resume.
You know what, Brett, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, I'm telling you, bro, you have to get in this fight camp, bro. You got to start cornering me because we're on the same page here. You're absolutely right. Now, like
Cody told me.
Okay. I got you. No, but you hit everything on the head. In retrospect, now looking back on it, I'm very happy with the performance. I got to showcase kind of like that grinding pressure a little more of the art of wrestling, let's just say, and I used the wrestling to transfer to some jiu-jitsu. So it was really cool to showcase some skills. Obviously, you always have the imagery and the fantasy of walking away from a bloody battle where, your nose is all busted up and your eyes bleeding and stuff like that. That's what I always envision when I walk in there. Like, that's what I get my mind and my body ready for. So when it goes really easy, I don't want to say it was easy because no fight's ever going to be easy. But when I won in the manner that I did, and I didn't take really any damage whatsoever, and I feel good when I got my hand raised, it feels different. It feels like, all right, well, that was essentially 9 weeks of work for 2 minutes of freedom, as I always call it. But like, I don't have anything to really show for it. But at the end of the day, I have another dub next to the win column, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's good stuff. By the way, I will share in our house, I was watching at the kitchen table on the computer.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And so I actually flipped it on. I thought it'd be a little bit later, but your fight came on pretty early. And the guy right before you got knocked out big time.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of blood in the cage and stuff.
Yeah, so he was in my locker room. The guy got knocked out. So as I'm walking out, he's walking in, and you see the bandages and oh damn! I'm like, and I go, did you win? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. I mean, what
just a reminder of what could happen.
What do you say to that?
But no, I mean, it's always a trip because, you're getting ready to go accomplish a task that you've been training for a long time. And as you're walking towards that goal, a guy that just went in to accomplish the goal is walking out, and he's all bloodied, and he didn't accomplish the goal, let's just say.
Yeah,
right?
nose shattered.
So, that, sticks in your head. It's like, well, damn. And then, you walk in the cage, and you see the blood, which I saw, and it's like, well, damn. Because, I have a whole pre-fight routine where I go in the cage before the event even starts, and I kind of go through my flows a little bit. And once again, I just kind of visualize what's going to happen in the fight. And obviously, when you go in the cage, it's clean. I mean, everything's taken care of. Not to say the cage wasn't clean when they washed the blood out, but you can still see the remnants of a horror scene. So, then I'm walking in, and I see that. I'm like, well, damn, all right, here we go.
So I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I flip this on, and I'm waiting, and they say, hey, your match is coming up next. Your fight's coming up next. I'm like, oh, great. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
And so I think Steph kind of knew, but she's doing something else, sitting on the couch. And then so the fight goes on, and 2.5 minutes later, it's over. And a few minutes after that, she's like, it's over? I was like, yeah, it's over. Did he win? Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, good. I was too nervous. I couldn't watch.
That's awesome.
You really got Steph in her feelings on this stuff in the cage, man.
Oh no! Listen, even
this is hitting Steph pretty hard.
Some of my best friends have come to watch me fight as an amateur, and I reminded my third amateur fight here in Jacksonville. One of my best friends, AP, came to watch me fight. And after the fight, I won and everything. We were celebrating, and he kind of just pulls me aside, and he's like, dude, I got to tell you something. What's up, man? And I thought it was something serious about that. I don't know what he's going to tell me. And he's like, I'm going to be honest. I don't want to ever watch one of your fights again. He's like, I couldn't handle it. I had to do a couple shots to just get my nerves right, and I still couldn't handle it. I'm like,
maybe
you
that's
got to come watch him.
I'll tell Steph that the next time.
Do a couple shots.
Vita De Louis tequila. We got some right at home.
Now we're talking.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was doing when you won I was doing Irish car bombs with friends.
Pre-fight nerves? We recommend Vita De Louis.
we were out, and we're hanging out, and one of my buddies goes, isn't Austin fighting tonight? I was like, yeah, it's probably coming up in a little bit. He goes, no, Brett just tweeted. He already won. And I was like, wait, what? I was like,
yeah,
wait, I missed it?
Yeah, it was early. It was really early.
Yeah, it was a different kind of show, where they try to get, I don't know if there's a curfew in the building that we're fighting on, but they try to get guys in and out as fast as possible. So I'm not going to lie, I actually like going a little earlier. It kind of adjusted to my dinner schedule a little more, so I had no problem going early, man. I was all for that.
Adjusted to my dinner schedule, too, and bed schedule. Here's the thing that was interesting. I think you went in the cage probably about 8:05, so it's over around 8:10 or a little bit after, maybe 8:12-ish.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at the watch. I was like, wow, this is pretty early. And then at like 8:28, I get a text from Austin. It's like, hey, I won via submission, rear naked chokehold. I'm like, holy cow, he's already back at Texas. That's how much he didn't take a shot or anything. Like, he's already out his phone.
No, yeah. I mean, I have to keep the crew, I have to keep the syndicate updated. Brent, come on now, man. You guys are family here. No, like it's crazy how, I mean, and we can get into hours and hours of this conversation, but like it's crazy how every fighter has their own pre-fight routine. Like in football, usually, you go through the same channels. You maybe sit in a cold tub or a hot tub, you get warmed up, you go through the pregame warm-up. But in fighting, like literally some guys warm up, some guys don't. Some guys maybe do a shot, some guys don't. It's just, it's all angles are covered here in your pre-fight routine. The way I operate is the fact that, like, when it comes to my cell phone, usually if it's like 2 or 3 hours before the fight, like, I won't text anything. Like, I don't even go on my cell phone. Like, I'll play music, but, like, I don't go on Twitter. I don't go on social media. I just kind of focus on the task at hand. Some guys are, watching TV. It's just, it's different for every single fighter. So, yeah, when I text you that, I'm like, well, I haven't been on my phone in a couple hours. Let's see what's going on. And then I text all you guys. So.
What do you do right after? So, did you go home? Did you go out to eat, celebrate?
Oh, no, it was,
did you?
So it was the best because, like I said, I fought early on the card. So what I did, it was really convenient. The hotel that we were staying at was connected to the fight venue. So I literally walked out of I walked out of the cage. I got my stuff. I'm walking back. I texted you. I took a shower, changed up, and I went back to the venue to watch the other fights and everything.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, that was cool.
And so did you come home like Sunday morning?
Yeah, I came home Sunday morning. So then we were staying at a resort. We kind of just hung out as a team, had a couple basic beverages.
Good
and
deal.
then we got home safely on Sunday.
Awesome. What's next?
I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, I didn't really sustain any damage, so hopefully I'll be fighting sooner rather than later. Got to find the right guy, the right opponent, but hopefully fighting in the next couple months or so.
I was going to say sometime between 2 and 3 months, probably a decent timeline.
That would be ideal. I know there's a combat night in Tallahassee in about a month or so. That might be a possibility as well, but I'm ready to roll whenever.
All right, good deal. Would you be ready to roll with Casey Hayward? Does that do anything for you? Let's talk about that. We got Give Me One Thing. We'll put a bow on free agency Monday here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 when we come back.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. One of the best to ever do it hung up his cleats this weekend when 20-year veteran Drew Brees announced his retirement. Brees has just about every award and accolade the position offers. Here is ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter with more.
He announces the decision today, courtesy of his kids, 15 years to the day that he landed in New Orleans. He bids goodbye to New Orleans. He's staying there, but he bids goodbye to the football team. He went to that franchise at a time when nobody wanted to go there. New Orleans had just gone through Hurricane Katrina. It was losing. It was not a destination. And Drew Brees turned it into one of the winning organizations in football.
And here in town, congrats go out to Justin Thomas for taking home the money after winning at the Players' Championship by one stroke over Lee Westwood. This Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
J.J. Watt, interesting choice. Imagine the conversation we're having today if he signed in Green Bay. Instead, he goes to Arizona, signs to play in the best division in football. Are they the fourth best team in that division? Could be. He went to the place that had the salary cap space to afford him. And again, that's not a criticism. It's just a simple statement of fact.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
Hey, boss, check this out. You're never home alone and you're never away from home with Safe Touch.
What now? Never home alone. Now that one I get. It's because of the two-way communicator.
Yep. Any emergency and you're talking with the operator in seconds.
Right. Never home alone. Yeah, but what about this never away from home thing?
See, with Safe Touch's smart home automation, you can control your house from anywhere.
What, is it that smartphone thingy again?
Yeah, with the Safe Touch app, you can check your camera feeds, turn on the lights, drop the AC down, lock the doors. Boss, it's like you're there.
Never away from home. Never home alone, never away from home. This changes nothing. I still hate Safe Touch, and we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. I need an aspirin.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces, this crave-controlling meal smoothie has non-GMO whole fruits, naturally derived caffeine, and absolutely no syrups. Or try strawberry pineapple or mango ginger. Start your healthier habit and order online at smoothieking.com. Now for pickup or delivery at any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Ready, set, go to Arlington Toyota today. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event starting now, which means it's your time to save on over 400 new Toyotas on the lot at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 Corolla LE or a new 2020 Camry LE. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $249 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/March for full details.
Transmission problems? Call Action Transmission Specialists on Merrill Road, where you get the work done right the first time by the experts. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. Our techs can service all makes and models, and we provide a nationwide warranty, so you have the peace of mind knowing we solve your transmission troubles fairly and honestly and guaranteed nationwide. Call us at Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road, where quality counts. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Happy March and almost happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate at Culhane's Irish Pub. A special menu for the day and catering available too. Culhane's Irish Pub has 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day at culhanesirishpub.com. But don't wait until March 17th. Go today for lunch or for dinner. Eat in, order out, happy hour, or even try the luncheon, brunch, and boozing specials. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
You actually shouldn't have never benched Mitch Trubisky when he was 3-0. You probably would have put yourself in a much better place right now today.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, or on ESPN News.
It means a lot, obviously. It's a huge championship, very special. It's a tournament I've wanted to win, a tournament that I truly did feel like I was going to win at some point, and hopefully multiple times. I love the golf course. It was in incredible shape this week. The greens were so good. The fairways were perfect. Rough was long. Just a great test of golf. I mean, that's why it's a Players' Championship, and I try to stay patient. You know, I felt like those last 3 holes on Friday changed the momentum for us for the tournament. You know, birdie in 16, and then that birdie on 18 was huge, and getting a little bit of momentum, and then kind of rode that into Saturday, and obviously had a great day. And then today it was about trying to get into position and then hang on from there.
A little less drama at the Players' Championship on Sunday than maybe we had hoped, but Justin Thomas, one heck of a winner and a heck of a weekend. 64 on Saturday, 68 on Sunday. He is your 2021 Players' Champion. We'll have a little bit of an essay and a recap on TV coming up in just a bit. CBS 47 and Fox 30. Join us at 6:50 on Fox 30, and later tonight, 10 and 11 on CBS 47 and Fox 30 to recap the Players' Championship and also recap the day for the Jaguars. If you're just catching up in free agency, the reports are this. Robertson-Harris, Roy Robertson-Harris, and by the way, he's confirmed this on Twitter too. He's coming to Jacksonville, 3 years, $24 million deal it looks like. Jamal Agnew, dynamic punt return guy, 5 touchdowns. He was sought after according to most. He's coming to Jacksonville as well in a deal that could be worth up to $21 million according to reports. And then a pretty low-key deal in Luke Ford it is, right, Austin? Luke Ford? Does that sound right? Not Whitey Ford.
Rudy.
Luke Ford.
Rudy Ford. Rudy Ford.
Hi, Rudy Ford.
Sorry. I was trying to go on their Twitter because, did you see, you said they announced it. So, did they say, I can't wait to be in Jacksonville? What did they say?
Yeah, they were like Duval.
No, find him. Find him, Brett. You can't say that anymore.
Didn't say 904.
I want to see 904. Yeah.
So, Rudy Ford, sorry. Anyway, safety and a special teams guy, 2 year, $4 million, it looks like. So, Jags make a little bit of a play, but not the splash play. So, we'll keep it posted. Okay, big story now is Yannick Ngakoue going to reunite with Gus Bradley out in Las Vegas. That's the latest report. So, Jan, which is really incredible, man. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teams in less than a year. 4 teams in less than a year for a guy who I believe probably should have been with this organization for the next 5 years and teamed them up with Josh Allen, 2 25-year-old pass rushers, and set it and forget it. And he ends up with 4 teams in 4 years, the latest being the Raiders. Again, fits in the Gus Bradley defense and the scheme. We'll see what the money is. I don't know that yet, haven't seen that yet, but I would say a decent landing spot for Jan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a defense that he's obviously very familiar with. I think that in Las Vegas, they got Crosby, I believe, out there. That's a guy's name, right? Not Max Crosby.
Yes.
It's not Max.
Is
it Max Crosby? Okay.
You got it.
Yeah, Max Crosby. I mean, I think it's going to be a good landing spot. We'll see how much money he's making, but it's crazy that in a span of a year, we're talking about his 4th team. Usually you call those guys journeymen. This is I don't know what you'd call Yannick Ngakoue in that situation. I'm really curious to see how much money he's made because, once again, that could maybe set the market a little bit at the edge rusher position.
Austin, isn't he really a fit guy? Because if you stress run, even Baltimore did that. They were trying to add to their pass rush. But by the Tennessee game or whatever game late in the year, he wasn't even playing a lot because they wanted to stop the run. Obviously, Jacksonville valued him, but not at the price tag he wanted because there were some concerns about the run.
Yeah.
And so there is this. I understand it. You go get paid, you pass rush, you sacks, you keep. We've had these conversations. But there obviously is some fits that are better. There are some fits better than others with a guy with his skill set, which certainly leans toward rushing the passer.
Without a doubt. And when you talk about, for me, the game that really sticks out of what the plan was in Baltimore with Yannick Ngakoue was that Titans playoff game. Because then you had a guy in Pernell McPhee who actually spent some time with in Chicago, but, he's 32 years old. On the back 9 of his career, he started that Titans game because why? Well, obviously you have Derrick Henry and you're trying to pound the rock. So Yannick Ngakoue was used a little more sparingly in that game compared to Pernell McPhee, who was out there in all the base packages. So it would go to show you in that type of defense in Baltimore, they wanted more of that run stuffer type of guy. Pernell McPhee, who's 6'3", probably goes around 270, I would say, at this point in his career, as opposed to a guy like Yannick Ngakoue, who's on the lighter side. Now, depending on the defensive scheme, some schemes they benefit from having a lighter defensive end. But when you're playing in Baltimore, that kind of defense, and keep in mind, Baltimore runs a bunch of wrinkles, but the objective was to stop Derrick Henry. That's where Pernell McPhee came in.
Yeah, good for Jan. Listen, I root for Jan. I mean, I wish he was here for a long time. It just didn't happen that way. But I do root for him, and so I hope he goes and plays well for the Raiders. A quick give me one thing. Did you see this thing from the other day since I'm at a baseball game? 22 pitch at bat?
No.
22 pitch. Yeah, St. Louis pitcher Jordan Hicks. This is in spring training, too. But it was in the 5th inning. He's coming off Tommy John. Hasn't even pitched in 2 years.
Yeah.
His first pitch was 100 miles an hour fastball. Second pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. 2 foul balls, ball 1, 5 foul balls, ball 2, ball 3, 9 straight foul balls, ball 4 on the 22nd pitch. It would have been the longest at bat in big league history if it was the regular season. How about that?
Interesting.
That's a long at bat. See, that's the competitive nature of sports.
Yeah.
Like, that won't get the attention of, like, a battle in the cage or a boxing ring or anything like that. But that one-on-one battle between pitcher and batter,
yeah,
few things are like it, man. It's pretty good.
Well, speaking of baseball and speaking of getting attention, Trevor Bauer is doing spring training with one eye open, one eye closed when he's pitching on the mound. When asked about it, he said, I don't want to tell you why I'm doing it, but there's a method to the madness.
We'll see.
Whatever.
There's always a madness to Trevor Bauer. All right, man, that was a fun day. We'll do it again tomorrow and see what the Jags do in free agency. Live, local, loud coming up next. We'll see you on TV tonight as well.
CGC Water has been telling you, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500